Tottenham against Manchester United is our 5:30 kickoff. Full commentary. Tottenham, one of the best when it comes to press room food. So John Murray is there already in the tunnel. Have you had a meal yet?
I'm here because I was asked to get here early to speak to you. That's right. Why I'm here, actually.
Does this feel big for both teams, even though it's so early on? Yeah,
exactly my thinking. The fact that it is the first home Premier League match for Ange Postecoglou, so there's a pressure that goes with that. And also, I think mildly interestingly, since they moved into the newly built stadium, they've not beaten Manchester United, so they've had 2 draws and 2 wins. They last beat them at Wembley. So what a good way that would be, wouldn't it, for Postecoglou to start as Tottenham's manager to beat Manchester United in this stadium. And similarly, obviously Manchester United didn't pull up any trees the other night, but there is the opportunity for them to start this season with 2 wins out of 2. So yes, is the answer to the question.
It's the answer. Because in some ways it feels like Tottenham maybe got a few more positives out of their opening weekend draw than maybe Manchester United did out of their opening weekend win.
Exactly so. So I believe there's a lot of talk about what the team will be, the Manchester United team will be, and how Ten Hag will respond to that. Just 3 shots on target on Monday night against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and of course the general consensus being that Wolves should have had a penalty at the end. And for Tottenham, I'll tell you what really struck me in preparing for this game. We talk about some clubs, for Chelsea, for example, such a big squad. How's Pochettino going to pare it down? But I think, you look at the Tottenham squad, and not involved last weekend were Lloris, who looks as though he's on his way, Reguilon, Dyer, Spence, Tanganga and Ndombele. And Ange Postecoglou was talking about how he's got too many unwanted players at training when he spoke yesterday. When also, interestingly, I don't know whether you picked up on this, Mark, he said that he'd been inspired by listening to Louis Theroux's podcast talking to Nick Cave. And did he pick that up?
Well, I'm about to play that.
Excellent.
Little bit.
In that case, I won't let the cat out of the bag.
Well, you kind of already have. But let's hear from Ange Postecoglou, who is saying he's going to entertain the Spurs fans this season. And he was asked how his style of play compares to previous managers.
My plan is to win. That's the only thing that kind of my focus is. But as I said before, the way we play is important to that. And we can't just sort of, I understand that, last year was a very, very difficult year, but, this club's been in a, pretty good shape for the last sort of X amount of time. You can go back as far as you want. Okay, they haven't had the ultimate success, but they've been, in the hardest league in the world, they've been a very, very good side. So I don't think the whole experience of the Tottenham supporters over the last few years has been that negative. I just think of the backdrop of last year for sure, but I don't want to sell them false hope. They're not coming to a carnival, it's a football match, and they want to go home with 3 points. But within that context, I want us to play football that does excite them for sure. And not just them, but I want everyone sort of talking about the way we play. It's not about sort of making them happy, it's about giving them joy that comes from suffering, and I mean, I'll say that because I listened to a podcast during the week and I just thought it was a great sort of description of what football is about. It's not about being happy, because you actually suffer a game of football until that joyous moment when the ball goes in the net or you win the game.
So, as John says, that podcast was the Louis Theroux one with Nick Cave. James McFadden, I do like that. It's not about being happy because you just go through an awful lot of pain watching a football match, but it's about trying to find joy.
Yeah, but if Ange Postecoglou brings a style that he showed at Celtic, it will be joy for the majority, for the Spurs fans, because the style that he talks about is a joy to watch. It really is. When it's in full flow, it's attacking football. I know they had a lot of possession, and typically you'd look at a possession-based team, and the possession they have is maybe in the build-up areas, in the defensive third through to the midfield. They want the ball forward quick, they want to go and attack, they want to score goals, and he does want to entertain. When he came into Celtic, he spoke about his style being really important, and there was enough ridicule when he came in because nobody in Scotland had heard of him, and people were saying, well, he just doesn't get it, he needs to win. Winning's the most important thing. he's changed his tact a little bit by saying that he wants to win, but he wants to play a certain style. When he approaches games, no matter who they're playing, the approach is the same. The style of play is the exact same as if he was playing a lower league team in Scotland in his cup to going and playing against Real Madrid in the Champions League. The approach is the same, so the players are clear in what's expected. And he speaks about the performance levels, and if the players perform the way that he wants them to their capabilities, they will get results from it. The Spurs fans will enjoy the football under Ange Postecoglou because it is exciting, it's high energy, it's non-stop, and they will get results from it.
But it's also very pertinent, James, to talk about what happened when he started, because it did take a little while. I was having a look back at this. Really mixed results for his first 2 months as the Celtic manager. Got knocked out of the Champions League in the qualifiers by Midtjylland. I think he lost 7 of his first 17 matches in all competitions. So they lost at Hearts in their first league match. He lost his first Old Firm match against Rangers. But then by the time that he left at the end of last season, he was unbeaten at home in all league matches he played with Celtic.
Yeah, they lost their first three of the first 6 league games, and when it went into Celtic, they finished 25 points behind Rangers the season before, and there was players, big players, Odsonne Edouard, Christopher Ajer, that wanted to leave the club. He had a lot of young players. He didn't have his squad available to him yet. He made some brilliant signings that summer, and it did take a little bit of time, and for a club like Celtic you have to win straight away, but he got it right. They won the league last season, they go and win the league again comfortably, win the treble. It did take a little bit of time, but what he inherited at Celtic was a lot more work for him to do than what's at Tottenham at the minute.
I said that's what I was. Is that a trumpet again, Chris?
It is, yeah. Following me around. It's the same guy.
And that, I was going to follow on actually from James's point though, which is it sounds ridiculous once they've just sold Harry Kane, but the rebuilding job at Tottenham doesn't feel as severe as it was when he took over at Celtic. I mean, there are more bricks in place, aren't there, at Tottenham?
I think it's an interesting one. I actually think Harry Kane going takes a bit of pressure off him in terms of expectations, or he won't use that as an excuse, but it is. I think we'd all agree it's a sort of valid excuse, losing England's best striker just before the start of the season, and just touching on the mess which he took over at Celtic. He was in the door very late at Celtic, and people forget that was always going to be a difficult start, but his recruitment was excellent. So it will be interesting. When he first got the job at Tottenham, he only plays one way, and Tottenham in previous seasons have played with the 3 centre halves and the wing backs, and I always wondered about whether a lot of the Tottenham players would suit his particular style. Interesting seeing Emerson Royal as an inverted fullback playing in that sort of midfield role last week against Brentford. Look, I think he'll be fine at Tottenham. I think Tottenham fans under the previous regimes of Conte and Mourinho were bored of going and watching their team park the bus and try and counter-attack, albeit they are very good at that. It'll be a different brand under Postecoglou. I think they had 70% possession last week. This will carry on, but I do think that there will be teething problems, and the difference between the Scottish top flight and the Premier League is that when teams did counter against Celtic, they weren't good enough to hurt them. In the Premier League, it's a different kettle of fish, and that's why I do think they'll take some beatings, but they'll win a lot of games eventually and be really good on the eye, and the Tottenham fans will be in for one hell of a ride this season.
One more to come from John Murray. One of the things that struck me, John Murray, about Tottenham as well in the build-up to the Brentford game with Harry Kane going was just how matter-of-fact Ange Postecoglou was, in a good way, and confident as well. And that was replicated by James Maddison in his post-match, talking about taking on the number 10 and why wouldn't he, and so on and so forth. They've got some very determined characters, I would suggest, there now.
Yeah, and I think as well that they'd reached the point, probably over the course of last weekend, where they'd had enough of being asked about Harry Kane. However, I must say, I walked out of White Hart Lane station today, walked down the street towards the ground, looked to my right, looked over the top of the wall, and what was there, the mural. Do you remember the mural that was unveiled at the start of last season? Big picture of Harry Kane. He's one of our own. Even my heart sank a little when I saw that.
John.
I think Tottenham fans who do that today, I think there might be a tear in their eye.
Oh,
I do.
Did you feel emotional?
I did.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, irrationally.
We didn't know John had a heart.
No, we didn't.
Neither did I.
Also, didn't know he got public transport either. But there we are.
One day, Mark.
Thank you,
no,
John.
Probably won't actually.
Good to move on now. We'll talk to you later. Chris Waddle alongside.
Just arrived.
Chris Waddle alongside John for commentary. Tottenham, Manchester United at 5:30, and then at 8 o'clock tonight, Manchester City against Newcastle. At 5:30, full commentary of Tottenham, Manchester United with John Murray.
Yes, the stadium here filling up. The Tottenham fans looking forward to watching Ange Postecoglou's team play Premier League football in front of them for the first time. There has been a protest going on outside against rising ticket prices. Several hundred people, maybe more, involved in all of that. But inside, the news is Christian Romero is okay to play despite his head injury last Sunday. But there are two changes for Spurs. Sarr comes in for Skip in midfield, Porro for Emerson Royal at right back, and Manchester United unchanged. Erik ten Hag sticks with his winning team despite all of the debate about what changes he might make. So Martinez is fit, and no Harry Maguire among the substitutes, even though there's two goalkeepers there.
But this is our next commentary of the day. Tottenham against Manchester United, and at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Chris Waddle, and first of all, John Murray.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Welcome everyone inside the Tottenham Stadium. And what a noisy welcome it's been as well for the new manager, Ange Postecoglou. His first home Premier League match begins, and immediately the ball bouncing back towards the edge of the Spurs penalty area, where the new goalkeeper Vicario picks it up. But Ange Postecoglou stands all in black, short-sleeved shirt, big forearms, hands buried in his pockets. And when he came out, and he did come out a little earlier than the players or Erik ten Hag, a huge mosaic was lifted by the fans in the south stand, which read, "Welcome to N17." So Ange Postecoglou's first Premier League match here at Tottenham as the manager has begun, and it's Spurs on the attack, and across from the right-hand side, and Son with a volley, but he mishit it all the way across the edge of the penalty area, and Luke Shaw was underneath it to volley it away to the halfway line, where it bounces out of play. So it is Tottenham against Manchester United. If you're a football fan, this is the sort of match that probably conjures up all sorts of memories from meetings they've had in the past, and Chris Waddle sitting next to me was involved in one or two of those. But what about the new start for Spurs?
Good, they had the early start. We see how he wants to play, wants to keep possession. Played a lot of people were panicking there at the back when they played little triangles with the goalkeeper, but they get it away, and Son, really, it was a difficult volley to control. But you can see Man United want to press, but Tottenham look very confident on the ball.
Spurs with the ball inside their own penalty area. First time they've started a season here in the Premier League without Harry Kane since he first burst onto the scene. He's just a mural on the other side of the high road now. Tottenham's top scorer in each of the last 9 seasons. But the page has been turned, and Tottenham with Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro, Christian Romero, he's fit, Mickey van der Ven and Destiny Udogie, the back four. Pap Sarr and Yves Bissouma are in central midfield. James Maddison is central, Kulusevski on the right, Captain Son on the left, and Richarlison through the middle, and Manchester United in the penalty area, and a left foot shot from just outside the box, which whizzes over the top of the crossbar, and Vicario happy to see it there from Anthony just outside the edge of the penalty area with his left foot.
Yeah, as you can see already, Tottenham like to use the goalkeeper as a spare man at the back. This time they got caught out. Porro a little bit sloppy. Anthony capitalises on it, but the shot goes high and wide. But you can see how Tottenham want to play. They want to keep possession of the football and making Man United chase, but at times they do take a risk.
So Chris Waddle with us, and this is the 5:30 kickoff in the Premier League. Commentary every time we have a Saturday night match. You'll hear it with us on 5 Live, watching Son just bundled over by Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and it's a free kick to Spurs 10 yards inside their own half. Well, I know Manchester United followers will have been talking about what changes should be made by Erik ten Hag after that unconvincing display in the 1-0 win against Wolves on Monday night. And what he's done, Chris, is named the same team. stuck with a winning team. So Onana in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, who was a doubt, and Shaw. Then Casemiro with Mount and Captain Fernandes, Anthony, Rashford and Garnacho, the front line.
Well, it's difficult, obviously. He wants to play a certain style, we know that. He's got Rashford as the number 9 at the moment, the last 2 games, but you've got to say it's not Rashford's game. He doesn't have his back to play. He's not good at chasing down centre-halves. He's not a sort of guy who'll lead from the front. He likes to be on that left-hand side. He's trying to play a very high tempo, and as you saw against Wolverhampton Wanderers, Wolves really ripped them apart at times, and they should have. Wolves would have won the football match.
Yeah, Wolves many more attempts on goal than Manchester United. Manchester United only 3 shots on target in that match. Here's Shaw on the left-hand side, just went shoulder to shoulder out there on the far side. Shouts from the south stand to our right, but Manchester United off and running with Mason Mount, the new Manchester United number 7. Now to Garnacho on the left, and he cuts into the penalty area. Good trickery, low shot from the angle, but Vicario is able to drop down to his left, the Spurs goalkeeper, and catch it.
Well, you'd probably say, John, defensively, you would say Porro is better equipped as a wing back, with another centre half playing behind him in a 3, but he's playing him as a right back. And we just saw there Garnacho get at him, and I think they're going to get Lloyd Joy now. I just wonder if he'd cross his mind during this game, Ten Hag, about getting Rashford out there against him.
Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. They're also underway, by the way, in the Ireland-England match in Dublin in the World Cup warm-up, so we'll keep you posted on that. It is Ireland 0, England 0 in the very early stages. World Athletics Championships are underway in Budapest as well. We'll be making regular visits there. Lots of coverage as well, by the way, and commentary over the course of the next week in the evenings on 5 Live Sport, and the 100 continues on Sports Extra. But here, the Premier League on 5 Live, 0-0, Tottenham all in white against Manchester United, red shirts, black shorts and black socks on a lovely evening, actually, a warm August afternoon stroke evening, as Spurs come forward with Udogi, one of the new signings. He's the Italian under-21 international who was actually signed last year but went out on loan back to Italy, to Udinese, and now here he is, chosen by Ange Postecoglou for what is his competitive home debut, having played last week. Udogi as left back, and the ball bounces into midfield where Sarr, who's come into the side today for Skip, and now the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Maddison was after it, but it was just cleared away on the edge of the box with Casemiro, who did the work there, and then Bruno Fernandes in a challenge has just taken a knock and has stayed on the ground, so Bruno Fernandes is down. Manchester United coming forward, and Garnacho is forced to play it back to Lisandro Martinez, who is going to see the ball out of play because Fernandes is still down.
50-50 with Porro now. I don't know if Fernandes thinks his leg was a little bit high. They're getting the benefit of a replay here. No, to me they just play the ball, and yeah, he might have slightly caught him, but he's not raised his studs, has he? No, he's just went in. It's a 50-50.
Yeah, 50-50 at ground level.
Yep.
Ball was on the ground.
For me it is, but we've heard the day, and you've seen over the last week or so some strange decisions with.
Well, that would be a strange one if anything comes out of that.
Yes.
But obviously concern here for Bruno Fernandes, and actually it wasn't a full-blooded 50-50 either. The Porro kind of pulled out of it, didn't he? But
I don't think either one of them is, to be fair, but let's hope he's all right.
Maybe an ankle, maybe something like that. Maybe an ankle.
His knee up. It's one of them. So going a little bit loose.
So an early stoppage and there are players, Manchester United players, the medical staff gathered around Bruno Fernandes, who is sitting up down there, and he's looking quite perky, and I think he's going to get back up to his feet in a moment or two.
I don't think there's anything. I think Man United players from here are asking the referee why you're not doing something about that, and I'm sorry, but that was a 50-50.
Yeah, Eric Ten Hag is on the edge of the coaching area. In fact, he's standing just outside it, in between that and the edge of the pitch. Very summery dress for him today, long sleeve. It's all sort of khaki beige from him, white trainers on. Bruno Fernandes walks to the side of the pitch. There's a little shake of the head from him, and Bruno Fernandes just talking to the fourth official down there as well about the challenge that he received. But play continues. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0, and Bruno Fernandes is still waiting to come back onto the pitch. So Manchester United currently playing with 10 men as Anthony puts in a challenge on the halfway line. Now here is Mickey van de Ven, who loses out to Anthony, and Anthony bleach blonde hair. The Brazilian comes in field, plays it to Garnacho on the left-hand side. Garnacho now looking for the overlap from Luke Shaw, but Luke Shaw finds the challenge coming in on him to block it behind for a corner to Manchester United after Porro put in the challenge. Corner from the left.
It was a timely challenge. They need to get it right, and it's a corner. Luke Shaw's going across to take it, but Man United there on the counter-attack, and I think this is what we're going to see in the game a lot today. How can use the ball well on the break.
So Luke Shaw just wanders across there to take it. One or two things being thrown down from the stand at him. I think scrunch up bits of paper, actually. Yes, it is. It's actually the mosaic, isn't it, from the welcome to Ange Postecoglou. So Shaw with a corner. It's a deep one to the back post. Varane with a header. And Vicario just not 100% sure about that. It did look from our great viewpoint here that it was dropping onto the roof of the net. But Vicario, very tall, 6'4" plus, jumped up, hands above the crossbar, and actually got a touch to give away what is a cheap corner, really.
It is, John, I agree with you. He didn't, no need to, but he wasn't sure. He definitely touched it.
This is Guillermo Vicario, Tottenham's new goalkeeper at the start of this season, with Hugo Lloris out of the picture. Corner then to be taken by Mount, a deep one to the back post. Varane underneath it again, but could only head it wide and high, and it is a goal kick to Tottenham. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. We'll have more on all of the earlier happenings, more interviews at half-time in this match, but Manchester United, Wan-Bissaka groans from the home supporters as Rashford is strongly challenged, centre field by Bissouma. It's played downfield for Son to chase, but Varane just glides across and is able to play it back to his goalkeeper, his new goalkeeper, Onana. Spurs brought on all of the various summer signings to say hello before the start of the match as Rashford was caught offside, and it's a free kick to Tottenham, 10 yards inside their own half. Also full time now in that Scottish League Cup second round tie that went to extra time, and it has finished Airdrie 3, Ross County 4. I'm not sure if we actually got a full time, did we, on the Portsmouth-Cheltenham match?
0-0.
It did finish 0-0. So Casemiro for Manchester United as they go back into their own half. Yeah, there seemed to be a feeling that maybe Garnacho would miss out today. Rashford might move back to a wide position. Maybe Sancho would come into the team. But Erik ten Hag has said, well, you've won the first match. Let's see what you can do here. As Mason Mount plays it forward, and it bounces out of play on the halfway line. Mason Mount, who had just 68 minutes on Monday night against Wolves. But he's got the number 7 heavy shirt for Manchester United, the number 7, Chris.
It is a heavy shirt, isn't it? But he hasn't had the greatest of starts. It takes a while though. People think it's quite easy to move football clubs. It's not. We're going to a massive football club from a big football club, so expectations are high. But it takes some time, and I think he's playing a little bit deeper than what is his best position, I'll be perfectly honest.
Yeah. So Manchester United take this throw and go back to Varane on the edge of the penalty area. Some early scoring in Dublin. Ireland 7, England 3 in the early stages. As Onana with the playing the ball from the ground that he's built a great reputation on, the former Inter and Ajax goalkeeper, played in the Champions League final last season. That's a poor pass from
just looked a little bit
Romero. Passed it straight out of play past Van der Ven.
They started very bright, didn't they, Tottenham? I thought the first 5-6 minutes, and just on 12 minutes now, and they've lost the rhythm. Look, they're giving the ball away cheaply. Man United are playing a lot higher and winning it back higher.
Yeah, that was a really odd pass, wasn't it, from Romero? It's almost as if here's Anthony now attacking towards the edge of the penalty area. Rashford takes it on. Goalkeeper comes out, makes a very good blocking save at the feet of Marcus Rashford. Got enough on it, it deflected up, but took all of the pace off it, and Tottenham have been able to get it away. In fact, there's a foul on Bissouma now. Bruno Fernandes leaning into him, and a free kick to Bissouma in the Tottenham left back area. Well, that was excellent from Rashford, and Anthony sort of fell into the path of Rashford. He was in like a flash, but the goalkeeper sliding out blocked it, I think, with his right arm. Yeah,
he did well. Great change of pace, gets away from Romero, and he sticks his right arm up Vicario, and just great block, and it goes away. But I think Man United the last 5 minutes have really got Tottenham pushed right back. They're giving the ball away cheaply at the minute, Tottenham. But that's how the manager wants to play. He wants them to take risks, to be confident on the ball. He wants everybody to look for it. But at the minute, there's no rhythm there.
Well, Chris, that's already, I think, 2 shots on target for Manchester United, so that's already well ahead of schedule compared to what they did against Wolverhampton Wanderers on Monday. And Erik ten Hag it would appear, has said to them, go out there and show what you really are, not what you were against Wolves.
And the thing with Tottenham is, it's getting Maddison and the front 3 on the ball. We've not seen them. Maddison and the front 3 have not really touched the ball. It's all been the back 4, the 2 sitting midfield players, and the goalkeeper who's had a lot of the ball.
Yep, not said Richarlison's name during the commentary yet, I don't think. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Throw in to the visitors, halfway inside the Tottenham half. Fernandes wins the challenge against Bissouma, then plays it outside of the boot down the line to Rashford. Rashford now into the penalty area, overlap from Wan-Bissaka, pulls it back, Garnacho with a shot, that is blocked by Romero, still inside the penalty area after it ricocheted away over to the far side, and actually it's been played away by Sarr. And now Kulusevski on the right hand side, he's not been involved yet either. Kulusevski coming infield on his left foot in his orange boots, and then back to the halfway line to Bissouma. So 0-0. But Manchester United certainly in these very opening exchanges, played almost 15 minutes actually with all of that stoppage time for the Fernandes injury. Manchester United certainly the more enterprising team, and it's been a challenge on Udogie, who has stayed down. That might have struck the arm there of Luke Shaw, but it's come out to Sarr, and now Shaw's out of position, and Kulusevski takes it on and into the penalty area on the right, and Martinez is able to come across, delayed, and that meant Martinez could block it behind for a corner.
Well, Kronetsky, he's got nothing in his head what he's going to do. He wants to get on his left foot, we can see that, but as soon as Martinez sort of says, go, I'm pushing you right, what are you going to do? He's just run out of ideas, and it's a very easy solving a defensive problem by giving it away for a corner. But Tottenham need a lot more from Maddison in the front 3.
Well, he had lots of options there, Kulusevski.
Yeah, but he didn't look confident driving down in that box with the ball.
Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. BBC 5 Live, BBC Sounds, and corner from the right. Tottenham's first corner in the Premier League here at the home stadium this season. Swung into the near post. Sarr was underneath it. 2 Tottenham players actually went for it, Van der Ven and Sarr, and it was headed up, I think, by Sarr in the end, well wide of the near post for a goal kick. So no threat on Onana's goal there. I'm sure there'll have been a lot of talk about Harry Kane. I have to say, Chris, as I mentioned, when I came out of White Hart Lane station, the first thing I saw was the mural of Harry Kane. He's one of our own. Onana's pass out from the back, Richarlison almost cut that out, and Manchester United sweeping it forward, but Christian Romero threw himself feet first and was able to block it. No sign just yet of this exciting, enterprising football that everyone's expecting to see under Ange Postecoglou, but Manchester United have made the better start to the match. And there's a good ball down the line. Kulusevski now against Martinez again, and Kulusevski plays it off the shins of Martinez for another corner from the right hand side.
He's got to have a bit. He's got a trick. Why is he not using it? He's running up against Martinez. Martinez is backpedaling. He's not dominating him, and he's letting him basically. That's twice in a row he's got behind Luke Shaw. There's no end product. Doesn't look confident on the ball when he gets in that area.
Maddison wanders across to take this. One of the big signings of the summer, James Maddison. The number 10, the new number 10 here, £40 million of transfer fee after his 5 years at Leicester. Maddison with the outswinging corner. Varane is underneath that for Manchester United to head it well clear of the penalty area. The ball runs directly towards Erik ten Hag, who stands on his own, as you have to this season, on the edge of the technical area. Tottenham take up possession again, playing from right to left. Bright sunshine on the gleaming see-through roof of the still quite new stadium as Romero passes the ball out towards Kulusevski on the right-hand side. Sarr makes a run, and then Kulusevski goes back to Romero on the halfway line, and he just shifts it forward, just shuffling forward with the ball. Rashford comes across, so actually Sarr is used, the tall Senegal World Cup player, played against England in Qatar, if you remember, in the last 16. This is only his 6th start for Tottenham, Pap Sarr, the 20-year-old. Here is Bissouma now carrying the ball on. Challenge came in from Casemiro, and it is a free kick, says referee Michael Oliver. Just slightly mistimed from Casemiro. Free kick, Spurs.
Yeah, I like Bissouma. He didn't have the best of seasons that he came from Brighton. I thought he was excellent there, and he's obviously got the trust and the faith of the manager, and I think he could be a big player for Tottenham. He's technically brilliant.
Yeah, he's been the Brighton departure who hasn't really done it
exactly
yet. But as you say, Chris, still early in a difficult season for him to come into, with everything that happened with Tottenham last season. Maddison then with the free kick. Now he couldn't get this one right, unlike that free kick that he hit in at Brentford last Sunday. It's bounced to Son though on the left hand side. Son up against Anthony, and Maddison's ended up falling to the ground as he was shoulder to shoulder with Garnacho. But the referee, Michael Oliver, says the ball had gone and it was already through for a goal kick. Spot of news from John Southall, who was at the Fulham-Brentford match at Craven Cottage earlier. He tells us that Marco Silva, post-match, has confirmed that Fulham and Al Hilal have agreed terms for the sale of Alexander Mitrovic. It's thought it's a 3-year deal and a fee in the region of £50 million. So Alexander Mitrovic, as has been widely flagged up during the course of the summer, is leaving Fulham. That'll be a loss. That's
leaving Fulham.
Yeah, for Fulham.
That could. Well, you're looking at probably finishing mid-table, John. Now you're looking at bottom 6 for me, bottom 7.
And another player off to Saudi Arabia. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Spurs with the ball halfway inside their own half. A massive paper aeroplane is almost in the middle of the Tottenham half. Rest of them so far haven't reached the playing surface. Up towards the halfway line where Udogie slipped actually and then put in a challenge which was a foul on Casemiro, and it's a free kick to Manchester United 10 yards inside the Tottenham half.
Udogie's not had a great start to his home career. He played very well at Brentford last week, I thought, but today he looks very nervous.
Yeah, well, big moments these. Signed under Conte, playing under Postecoglou for Tottenham, the left back, Destiny Udogie. Ball's played forward for Manchester United. Rashford sets himself to shoot, but the cover was there from Mickey van der Ven, the signing from Germany, from Wolfsburg, young Dutchman, Dutch under-21 international. He's blocked it out for a corner to Manchester United from the right. A ball is thrown down from the stands. Bruno Fernandes has already picked one up off one of the cones, I think, or the ball boy had given him one. Yep. So Fernandes to take this, right arm raised, corner from the right hand side. In it comes to the near post, headed away, comes out to Anthony, who tried to hook it back to Bruno Fernandes, got it all wrong. Ball played downfield, and Onana's almost in the centre circle, the Manchester United goalkeeper, even though Kulusevski was there, and Onana pumps the ball forward. What a brilliant pass that is to Garnacho, who's got some space here, and Garnacho pulls it across, but Van der Ven was in the middle and able to clear it away. Well, he was given the big build-up, Onana, about what he might be able to do with the ball at his feet, and that is a brilliant example.
Well, that's been the best pass of the game. What is it? 60, 70 yards diagonal right to his feet, and they should have made more of it. Wasted opportunity.
Not only that, Kulusevski wasn't far away from him, and as I say, he was not far short of the centre circle, the Manchester United goalkeeper. You didn't get that from David De Gea. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Remarkably, De Gea is still available as the ball is played across the edge of the 6-yard box. I know there was obviously talk of Bayern Munich this week, but that's not materialised. And Spurs, don't mention Bayern Munich, Chris, I told you about that.
No, you cannot say that.
Udogie now in the left back area. In comes the challenge from Anthony, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Spurs. I wonder how many of the Tottenham fans tried to tune into that last night just to have a look. Handkerchiefs at the ready. Throw-in by Udogie. Then Richarlison slides in, goes to ground, comes out for Tottenham. Maddison might have been fouled, he was, but play continues. Son did well. Richarlison, though, is shrugged off the ball by Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka now to Fernandes through the middle. Bruno Fernandes, nice ball, slightly behind Garnacho. Chris is saying offside. Play continues. Garnacho back to Bruno Fernandes, who goes for the Rabona, and then the header from Rashford. And if it had ended up in the net, it wouldn't have counted.
I don't think it would have.
It would have been offside. The flag went up.
Brilliant, wasn't it, Fernandes?
Imagine if they scored from that. It would have been disallowed.
That was quality by. Got to say,
the Rabona.
Fernandes there, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That spotted him out. He should hit the target, by the way.
what vision that is.
He's offside as well. Well, he should hit the target anyway.
Yeah, so don't need to make a note of that. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. That, however, is the highlight so far. You love that sort of thing, Chris.
Oh yeah, bit of skill,
bit of imagination, bit of flair.
I've got to say, Rashford started the game very poorly for 10 minutes, and he's come into it now, and he's looked sharp and lively. But you look at the white shirt of the centre forward of Tottenham, and I've got to say, very disappointed.
Yeah, Richarlison just hasn't happened from here. Hasn't happened for him here so far. 3 goals in all competitions last season. Actually saw him score twice on his Champions League debut here, but just 1 goal in 28 Premier League appearances for Tottenham so far. Manchester United coming forward. Shaw as well. Cuts the ball right back to the edge of the area to Fernandes, but Sarr was in position, Bissouma was in position to block it away to the halfway line. So Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. BBC 5 Live, the 5:30 Premier League Saturday match. Anthony gets the ball down near the right corner of the penalty area, back to Wan-Bissaka. Going to go to Dublin in a moment, but the ball is played in by Casemiro straight at Bissouma on the edge of the box. Tottenham could break here. Bissouma passes it, asking a lot of Son. Son in a race with Varane, and Son got there first, and Son now beats Varane, who was pulling him back there, but Son persists, plays it square to Sarr. Now Kulusevski, right side of the area, low left foot shot, and Nana's able to drop on it, too close to the goalkeeper, and Richarlison in the middle is saying, what about me? How is an option?
You've got to shoot from where they are. Great bit of Son showing tremendous pace down his left against Varane, who backs off. After that, it's a great bit of play by Tottenham, and when it comes to he's did the right thing. He's got on his left foot. He's trying to aim for that far post. He's not hit it well enough. I can't see why Richarlison's moaning about that.
Ireland were in front against England. Last I mentioned it. James Burridge is monitoring it.
Still the same scoreline, 7 points to 3 to Ireland. John Bondiaki with the score. Lovely offload from Van der Fleer. Omani with the break. And Aki on the shoulder. England cut right into far too easy. Ireland leads 7-3.
Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. But that was the best we've seen from Tottenham so far.
Yes, definitely. It's the first time they've really looked built with a purpose, but they are missing. I know we can't mention his name, but we are mentioning a certain guy.
Yeah. The record scorer took Jimmy Greaves' record last season. Oh, lovely skill from Rashford. I'm not sure how he did that. Change of feet, little flick, and he's away from Van der Ven. Then plays it across. And now, with a chance, Garnacho, it's deflected, and he was wrong-footed, Vicario, the goalkeeper, but the ball bounced away in the other direction wide.
For handball of Porro, I think.
And they're saying to the referee...
I don't think it is. I think he's shot. I think his hand's down by his side. We are, look, it's... he can't... Romario, I mean, I've seen these given, by the way, but for me... Well, I've seen them given.
Well, it's a very close quarters. What's that? A yard and a half? And the shot, it goes up. And Romero's arm is slightly away from his body. It's bounced behind, and
he's listening. I think it's
there's a discussion going on.
I think there's a fair chance we'll get this.
VAR having a look. It's Craig Pawson who's watching in the studio at Stockley Park. I mean, it's close, but now they've gone to it. Now they're looking at the pictures.
Ball to hand, though. It's not. He hasn't delivered. It's just your action in it. Look, he goes to block it. His hand's bound by his side. It's hit him. I mean, he's not put his hand up to block it. Look,
Romero's leaning back.
Yeah, I mean, well done.
It's a corner. Yeah,
well done. Yeah. You'll not be refereeing in the Championship next week.
Well, the last man who managed Manchester United is having the last man who refereed Manchester United is having the weekend off with the rest of the officials. And now Shaw's waiting to take this corner, and everyone's cottoned on to the pieces of paper or card that were used for the big mosaic before the match. I mean, they've been raining down on that corner. Luke Shaw's ignoring them, and Shaw's waiting, but here's one now, just lands at his feet as he's waiting to take this, and he's having to kick it away.
I think we understand a bit of fun, but this is going too far, isn't it?
And here's another one, just as Shaw's waiting to come up, but Shaw does come up. The outswing to the edge of the 6-yard box. Casemiro got his head to it, actually. Deflected, though. Then headed away by Romero. Comes out, nodded back in across the edge of the penalty area by Mount. And then Garnacho is being forced to run away with the ball. And Udogie played it off him. out of play for a throw into Tottenham.
You can see what the crowd want. They want to see a lot of effort, and they want to see Tottenham on the ball and passing it around, and they want to get excited.
But it's very, very early days for Ange Postecoglou. Made quite a faltering start to his Celtic career before the results came and the trophies followed. Here's Richarlison for Tottenham on the right-hand side. Richarlison goes for the early cross, but a slip by Sarr in the D, right on the edge of the D, meant that Varane could clear, not under pressure. Fernandes has done well there, but he's been fouled, and it's a free kick to Manchester United. They don't agree with that one. The home supporters, they feel that Bissouma got the ball, but I think he got Fernandes as well. It's a free kick to Manchester United.
There's some great battles going on around the park, isn't there? I've got to say Man United are slightly the better team. I feel that Southpaw coming up to 30 minutes not far off. I think Man United have just shaded it for me.
Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Spurs' last home win against Manchester United was in 2018, and actually that was at Wembley when they were still playing there. So they've not beaten Manchester United in the new stadium in 4 attempts, which would be that would be a handy way to start for Ange Postecoglou. But as Chris Waddle says, Manchester United have been the better side. Clever pass into the penalty area to Rashford, bounced away from him, and Spurs had players all around Rashford, and they've come out with the ball, and Maddison himself has come out with the ball and has carried it into the centre circle, and he's given it to his left to Udogie, and now Son on the left hand side. Spurs pouring forward, ball played back in, shot from the angle from Sarr, saved by Onana, comes back to him, and he couldn't sort his feet out, and the ball bounced back to Onana. Flowing football from Tottenham.
First time we've seen Maddison involved as well. He comes, turn the pace, gets it out of the swing for Son, and you've got to say there, Sarr hits it well. The goalkeeper makes himself big, doesn't know a lot about it, hits him rather than he makes the save.
Yeah, that was an interesting call from Ange Postecoglou today. The 2 changes he made, Porro coming in for Emerson Royal at right back, but also Sarr instead of Skip in midfield, and Sarr showing there that he can get forward from playing alongside.
That's John.
Yeah,
I think Skip, we know, sits in front of the back 4 and he puts good shift in, but Sarr's got a little bit more going forward.
5 Live and BBC Sounds. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. At half-time we'll hear from Jurgen Klopp. We will hear from Marco Silva. So Alexander Mitrovic is off to Saudi Arabia, and we will be live at the World Athletics Championships from our team in Budapest. It's actually an All About Athletics podcast out now, latest offering from BBC Radio Sport, and Steve Cram is the first episode of that All About Athletics via BBC Sounds. That's where you'll hear the Women's World Cup final preview as well, by the way. That is out now, it's on there, BBC Sounds, ahead of the big day in Sydney tomorrow. Our team there, I hope they're tucked up in bed now. Juliet Farrington and co preparing themselves for what could be an epic day's broadcasting live from inside Stadium Australia. So listen out to that from 10 o'clock in the morning, and then kick off at 11. Ball is back with Vicario, the Tottenham goalkeeper, who clears up towards Son, who heads it in field. Ball is driven forward by Martinez to pick out Anthony. Anthony now rolls it in to Rashford. Rashford pulls it back. Bruno Fernandes. Brilliant pass from Rashford, right on the spot, but the defender was there to block it. Anthony goes for a curler from the right, in the corner of the box, but didn't get enough on it, and it curled away beyond the far top corner.
Yeah, brilliant spot by Rashford for Fernandes on the edge of the box, wasn't it? Anthony's a little bit ambitious with that one from his corner, 18-yard box, trying to bend it in the far top corner. But it's a good game. It's quite open. Both teams want to play on the front foot.
Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. And here is Udogie, and then Son slides in Wan-Bissaka, and it's a free kick. Must have got a bit of the ball. There's Ange Postecoglou coming. Oh, and it's been stuck there. Well, there we are. The players know, they've been told. Wan-Bissaka stood in front of the ball. Tottenham were trying to take the free kick, and that now, well, it always has been, but that's one of the things that they're cracking down on, Chris. That's an instant yellow card, and that's what he got, Wan-Bissaka, for that.
Good. There's a few things they should crack down on.
This time last week, or a little bit later on, Tonali was getting a yellow card, having just produced his man of the match performance. Eddie Howe substituted him, thought it'd be nice for him to get the ovation. Newcastle winning comfortably at the time. He got yellow carded for delaying it coming off the field. Newcastle tonight. What a game that is already this season. Manchester City against Newcastle. We'll have coverage of that during 6:06. But here's Varane at the back, who was almost dispossessed halfway inside his own half, just about dragged the ball away from the challenge. And Manchester United playing it out from the back. Wan-Bissaka low and forward towards Varane, who's almost on the right wing actually. And then Rashford back centrally to Casemiro, into the centre circle to Mason Mount, again in that deeper position. Mason Mount, Luke Shaw arriving on the left hand side, and then Mason Mount again with a touch. Mason Mount bringing a little more Champions League winning experience to Manchester United, alongside another one, Casemiro, with all of his Champions League winners' medals in central midfield. Wan-Bissaka now up towards Bruno Fernandes, and then Bruno Fernandes passes it long from the halfway line, but didn't get that one right, and it bounces through to Vicario.
No, I think there's a lot of players who we want to see on the ball. I think Fernandes has been on it a lot. Rashford's came into the game definitely, but we haven't saw enough of Maddison, we haven't saw enough of Son, definitely haven't saw enough of Mason Mount. Not really touched the ball at all.
And Maddison's actually come and collected the ball.
Yeah, he wants to get involved. You can see that he wants to get on the ball, but you don't want him in the back four.
No, which is almost where he was. Maddison collecting that ball and giving it to Van de Ven, Mickey Van de Ven. Son was offside, so it's a free kick to Manchester United. Less than 10 minutes to go to half time. Still Ireland 7, England 3, and we'll have more on all of the earlier stories at half time with Mark Chapman. Extraordinary score in League 2, where it finished Wrexham 5, Swindon 5, and I'll tell you in the second half when the lines are open for 6:06. Chris Sutton alongside Robbie Savage for that, after Chris was at for Liverpool alongside Ian Dennis for our earlier commentary. We will hear from Jurgen Klopp at half time. Here's Wan-Bissaka rolling it forward towards Rashford, now to Anthony on the right hand side, into the full back position, then turns back onto his left foot. Thought he might have whipped the cross in there. Wan-Bissaka back to Anthony again, and then Anthony knocks it further back towards Casemiro. The Brazilian Casemiro to the Brazilian Anthony in the Brazil squad that was named yesterday. Anthony chips it over to the far side to the Argentine, then back to Shaw. Shaw lifts it in. Oh, what a chance! Bruno Fernandes in the middle, heads it over the bar from 5 yards out, and there's no flag from the assistant.
Well, Tottenham are looking around, they're looking at the linesman first, but they've got to be looking at who is marking him. It's a lovely bit of play by Man United, a lovely build-up, and he is onside. Definitely onside. Doggy at the back for me, he's got to go with him. He's just ball watching, and really he's got to score, at least hit the target. Well, 5 yards out.
Oh, that by the length of North London is the chance of the match so far. That should be 1-0 Manchester United, and when Bruno Fernandes watches that back, he'll think, how did I not end up heading that into the net? Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Watch it on Match of the Day tonight, BBC One, or any time on the iPlayer. Kulusevski strong, holds off Shaw, comes centrally, now Son absolutely whips the ball way over the head of Richarlison, who goes down under a challenge inside the penalty area, and then a foul on Luke Shaw in the left back area, and Richarlison's stayed down after that on the edge of the 6 yard box.
I didn't say anything. We might get the benefit of a replay, yeah, but he's getting up. Shock. Tottenham do carry a threat. Not seen enough of it, I've got to say, but when they do get past that midfield and get at that back four man, they do look threatening. Yeah, there's a slight nudge by Martinez on Richarlison, look, but he just stands his ground. There's nothing in that. So
it is still Ireland 7, England 3 in Dublin. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Chris Waddle here with us for the first time this season, for the umpteenth season with us on BBC Radio 5 Live. Once Britain's most expensive footballer. Here is Bissouma turning and giving it back to Vicario on the edge of the box. So Hugo Lloris looks as though he's going to be off, possibly Lazio. The long-time Tottenham goalkeeper and captain, 36 years old now. He's had some shaky moments as Anthony tackles Bissouma, who goes sliding flat on his face in the centre circle, and Anthony protests with the, as if to say, how could you possibly show me a yellow card for that? And he is booked, and so is Bruno Fernandes for complaining about the yellow card for Anthony. So 2 yellow cards for the price of 1.
Yeah, I agree.
And what's happened here now, as somebody else said something, referee Michael Oliver, he won't stand for that sort of thing. One of the most experienced referees around in world football. He knows when someone's crossed the line, Michael Oliver.
Well, Anthony's was a foul. When he saw the replay, he got it right, spot on. And I don't know why Anthony's moaning. But Fernandes, we've seen him over the last couple of seasons, always arguing at the referee. A little bit frustration, you can see that. But the new rules are the new rules.
He is now the Manchester United captain. So that whether he feels that gives him extra leeway, but I think Michael Oliver's made it very clear to him there he doesn't have any extra leeway. The former captain, Harry Maguire, he was still talking, away to Michael Oliver, even after they'd spoken for some while. Harry Maguire not named among the Manchester United substitutes today, even though there are 2 goalkeepers on the bench, Henderson and young Vitek, the Czech. So we'll have to ask later when we speak to Erik ten Hag whether there's anything in that. Van de Ven chipping the ball forward into the penalty area, taken down by Udogie. Son then square, and a drive hits the crossbar from the arriving Pedro Porro, smacked the crossbar, stayed out. Now the cross from the right, deflected to the 6-yard box, off the post, and is cleared away by Martinez, and Manchester United's goal survives, 0-0.
Wow, what excitement, you're starting to get it now. Hit the bar and the post in the space of 30 seconds.
Manchester United fortunate there, it was really well struck, the initial shot from Porro, and then when it came back in from the right hand side, hit the upright and bounced fortunately for United for Martinez to clear. Maddison now flicks it forward, and a stretch, and a shot is behind from Porro. Pedro Porro again.
Yeah, great ball by Maddison, lovely spot. We're getting the benefit of the replay here. Porro's shot, it's cannoned off the crossbar, goalkeeper nowhere near it, by the way. And then it comes from Sarr. It's a deflection.
Yeah.
Martinez is it? No, Shaw. Hit the post, comes away.
So somehow it is still 0-0. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Fernandes should have scored at one end.
Been enough chances, definitely.
Post and bar hit in the same incident at the other end. It's rather different to some of the football played under Antonio Conte and recent Spurs managers. Here's Wan-Bissaka, then back to Bruno Fernandes, who chips it across the box, but Pedro Porro is able to nod it back to his goalkeeper, Vicario. Another of the new signings, this promising young Italian goalkeeper from Empoli, £17.2 million they paid for him. And Fraser Forster, by the way, back among the substitutes today, who's recovered from an injury. So Vicario, all in light blue. So no Hugo Lloris. Reguilon, not involved yet, although he has had an injury. And Ndombele, likewise, not involved yet under Postecoglou. No Eric Dyer, which I think is an interesting one. Spence, Tanganga. The Spurs squad is still very large. And here is Sarr bringing the ball forward for Tottenham to Udogie. Son now up against Wan-Bissaka. Then back for Tottenham, centrally again to Pape Sarr. Tall, leggy player, Pape Sarr. Udogie. Back to Son, who just rolls it on down into the full-back position for Bissouma to take this on. Bissouma then low back to Son on the edge of the box. Little ball into Richarlison inside the penalty area, tried to work it back, might bounce to Son, took a couple of deflections, but in the end it's Wan-Bissaka who is able to take charge and on the stretch put it out of play for a throw-in to Tottenham. Manchester United in the main have been the better team, but there have been plenty of promising moments for Tottenham.
They've hit the ball, they've hit the post, and they've had a couple of chances, haven't they, where you're a little better decision could result in a goal, but as you say, Man United have had better possession and looked the more threatening.
Half-time approaching, and all the time we're inching closer to the World Cup final tomorrow morning. 11 o'clock kick-off Vicky Sparks and Karen Bardsley, your commentary team, as they have been from Australia all the way through the tournament. Here's Richarlison. Richarlison now out to the right-hand side. And Kulusevski. Kulusevski shoots left-footed from the angle, but it's straight at Onana. Given the angle, probably best part of 25 yards, but the new Manchester United goalkeeper was able to drop forward and gather it into his chest.
Yeah, he's thought about it, didn't he? He got Anthony running, sprinting down his right wing, down just beside us here, and away he went, but he wouldn't kick it, and Anthony wasn't happy with him.
0-0. Onana playing it out from the back.
It's been quite an open game, John, and you would think there would have been goals because both teams play with risk. They're not frightened to play out from the back. They're not frightened, to one-on-one situations, going back to the goalkeepers, and risky play at times, but thought it'd be goals. Mason Mount just leaning into Sarr on the far side, just a little bit too much in that. Sarr went down, wins the free kick. Free kick to Spurs on the right. Maddison takes it, goes for it early, cleared away by Martinez, who was sharp, ready for it, and then it's Porro who does well, pulls it back, but a stretch from Romero, couldn't get to it, or at least couldn't get the contact that he wanted. Stretch for all his might, could only head it up in the air, and Richarlison went in to challenge the goalkeeper Onana, who was able to catch the ball cleanly, unlike against Wolves late in the match on Monday night. Yes, well, we all saw that. Well, some people didn't see it, obviously. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. In the 45th minute, long downfield from the Manchester United goalkeeper, Van de Ven hooks it away. Now Anthony again, Anthony through into the penalty area. Casemiro actually with a run into the box. The defender went with him, and he could only deflect it through to goalkeeper Vicario. So Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. 6:06 to follow tonight, and all of the build-up to the World Cup final will start in breakfast tomorrow morning. Actually, lots of coverage from Sydney. Manchester United taking up possession again, curled into the box. Bruno Fernandes couldn't get there, and it just bounces through to Vicario. So 3 minutes of added time. Thought it might have been more than that with the early Bruno Fernandes injury. But 3 minutes, and Ange Postecoglou has still got his hands in his pockets down there, all in black. You've come dressed as Ange Postecoglou this afternoon, Chris. We rang each other, texted each other this morning.
Excellent Tottenham thinking, past and present. If I remember rightly, Manchester United was an option for you, wasn't it, at one stage? Didn't never happen. No. And poor from Bissouma, carries it forward and then passes the ball straight out of play, probably 7 or 8 yards ahead of Porro, so it's out for a throw into Manchester United. Lots of movement in the stands still, sun streaming down, covering the top 2 tiers on the far side of the stadium from us. We're still waiting for the opening goal in added time at the end of the first half. Still Ireland 7, England 3 is the latest score in Dublin, and tomorrow after the World Cup final, 2 more Premier League commentaries tomorrow. Aston Villa against Everton from 2, and then West Ham Chelsea from 4:30. Both of those matches here on 5 Live, and it's now Ireland 12, England 3. More on that at half time. Tottenham coming through the middle, ball played forward by Udogie in a central position, actually carried the ball all the way to the edge of the penalty area, but in the end it fell to Shaw, who was able to clear it away, and Udogie's now out of position, so Son's got to come back into the left back area. Udogie's trying to get there. Wan-Bissaka across to Casemiro square to the feet of Shaw now to Garnacho in field, but Tottenham have got everyone back. Garnacho though sweeps the pass square, 25 yards out. Bruno Fernandes curls it in towards the back post. Garnacho got his head to it, and it glances away out and behind for a goal kick. Chris Waddle.
Well, I've got to say, what this game is lacking is 2 centre forwards, and I didn't want to say that. I was coming to this game hoping that I'd be seeing a lot of goals from other players, but they are missing, both teams are missing number 9s.
Yeah, we don't attract you to London too often, do we? But the temptation of this lured you down. Here's Maddison down the right to Richarlison, but Martinez puts in the challenge, bounces out of play. Michael Oliver gives that as a throw into Tottenham. There's a reaction there from Manchester United as well. Their fans are all round the corner, that corner down there, no sign that I've seen of any further protests against the Glazer ownership as that continues to drag on from week to week, month to month. And also as well, of course, the Mason Greenwood issue, which Manchester United are dealing with at the moment. Ball played forward for Spurs, but there's the final whistle. There's the half-time whistle. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0, and certainly been chances. Early ones for Manchester United, who started the better, and then for Tottenham, Kulusevski, Sarr had that chance, and then the incident when it struck the bar and hit the post as well. And Bruno Fernandes with the best chance with the header that he put over the top, Chris.
Yeah, I would say, looking at overall the way Tottenham finished the last 15, it's probably been a fair result. We expected goals. There's been some great chances. Tottenham have looked quite comfortable, but Man United also. But as I just said 5 minutes ago, there's no number 9s, and this game would have had goals with the players if they had both number 9s played.
So we'll find out in the second half whether either can find a way. Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0.
3 Premier League games so far today away from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, all at 3 o'clock. Fulham 0, Brentford 3. Fulham down to 10 men midway through the second half. Tim Ream sent off. Liverpool had Alexis McAllister sent off, but they still beat Bournemouth 3-1, and Wolves had Mateus Nunes sent off as they were beaten 4-1 at home by Brighton. We'll hear from Gary O'Neill during half-time. We'll hear from Jurgen Klopp as well. 08085 909 693 to talk to Chris and Robbie. Thank you very much, who are on the way after the second half at Tottenham, where Chris Waddle and John Murray are. And there's a lot of endeavour and there's a lot of build-up. But there aren't many chances, Chris, and as you said, it's about centre forwards, isn't it? It feels like.
Yeah, and if they don't sort it out, Mark, I've got to say that it could cost them a lot of points early in the season, and you don't want to be chasing the big guns. You want to be up there in the pack, and Rashford, first 10 minutes couldn't get in the game, really, give the ball away a lot. He's come into the game, his movement's been better, but Richarlison for me hasn't had a kick, and you're looking at the bench for Tottenham. There's nothing really you can play down the middle, and it's a problem.
John Murray, all yours.
Thank you very much, Mark. So Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Of course, Rasmus Højlund, the new signing, the new big thing. The young Dane is out injured at the moment, got this back problem. But I think the feeling was that he'd be available after the first internationals, the qualifiers at the start of September. So we'll see about that. But, whether Erik ten Hag is going to try something different, well, it's not going to happen at the start of the second half. Same teams, Tottenham with Vicario in goal, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven and Udogie, the back four. Then Papsar and Bissouma in the middle, Kulusevski on the right, Son on the left and Maddison behind Richarlison. Tottenham will get the second half underway presently. Manchester United with goalkeeper Onana, back four of Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez and Shaw, then Casemiro with Mount, Bruno Fernandes, Anthony on the right, Garnacho on the left and Marcus Rashford up front. Still sun shining, still lovely warm day here in North London, and Tottenham get the second half underway and play the ball back to the two central defenders. Dappled sunlight on the pristine pitch here at the Tottenham Stadium, and people still finding their way back to their seats. Lots of empty grey seats actually all around the stadium as the ball is played forward to Wan-Bissaka, who is underneath it, comes down centrally where Bissouma will turn and play it back into central defence. Bissouma was number 38 and he's changed to number 8, which is probably a sign of his intentions this season to be in the first 11. And the early signs have been promising. Another of the Brighton departures, £30 million Brighton paid for him last summer after his 4 seasons there. Amazing, isn't it, that Brighton the conveyor belt continues out of Brighton, and yet they start the season in the way that they have. We heard from Solly March at half-time.
Yeah, brilliant scouting system they must have.
Here is Martinez, who is caught by Richarlison. Martinez was just moving away with the ball, and there must have been the tiniest flick maybe on the ball of his ankle, something like that, and Martinez he's okay, he's back on his feet. Lisandro Martinez, he was a little bit of a doubt for the match actually with an ankle problem, so whether that has just touched a nerve or not, I don't know, but he's on his feet. So the ball back with Onana, who just pulls a foot across the ball and passes it comfortably out to Wan-Bissaka, whose passing field is not so comfortable, and Tottenham very nearly won that back, and Mason Mount had to be sharp and Manchester United were able to clear. Shaw then to Rashford, who laid it off, but Tottenham. Shaw's out of position now. Spurs break forward, but Kulusevski couldn't keep the pass in field. So Tottenham 0, Manchester United 0. Ange Postecoglou comes forward, first Australian to manage in the Premier League, all in black shoes as well, shiny. Comes to the edge of the coaching area. What do you think he'll have made of that first half of his team in the Premier League at the London Stadium, Chris?
I like the way he sticks to his beliefs, the way he's talked pre-season, the way he's played pre-season.
Tottenham coming forward through the middle, more on that in a moment. Nice change of feet. Udogie does well, then plays it square. Maddison couldn't pick out the pass to the arriving Son, and really there for Maddison, it seemed as though he was going to slip that across, which would have put Son in, but it was intercepted on the edge of the penalty area. And now Manchester United in the red shirts and the black shorts and socks break forward with Wan-Bissaka, but left back Udogie back in position, all in white, slides in to put the ball out.
I like the way they play. I think he's not frightened to play on the front foot. He must look and sometimes think we're a bit vulnerable in areas, but he wants to play a certain way, and he had a lot of success doing it at Celtic, and we know Celtic have always been a good side in Scotland, so, but he's not backed off anything from coming to Tottenham.
Yeah, treble last season, League and Cup double the season before in his 2 seasons there, and even though there were some uncomfortable moments in the first couple of months when he was Celtic manager, and they lost 7 of his first 17 matches. In fact, in his whole time, they didn't lose at home in the league, Celtic, in the 2 seasons. Here, 0-0. Maddison back towards the halfway line. Maddison weaving downfield, and you could hear the expectation of the crowd growing, but instead Maddison had to turn and give it back. Now though, they're down the right-hand side with Kulusevski. Kulusevski to the byline, drives it across, took a deflection across the face of goal, and Sarr! Pap Sarr is there to drive it in the 6-yard box and score Tottenham's first Premier League goal here at their home stadium under Ange Postecoglou, and I'm not sure if he's moved a muscle down on the touchline. He's standing with his arms crossed, almost as if that's what you're supposed to do. Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0.
It's a good goal as well, good build-up play. I mean, Garnacho, bit of naive young player, should have cut the lane of the pass out to Kulinecki, and he just pushes it across the goal, slight deflection, but it's a great finish. Volley. Sarr comes in, doesn't he, at the far post, and that's not an easy chance to put away. That could easily have been high into the crowd. There's a slight deflection from the cross, and he gets a volley to it. It's a brilliant finish. Left foot, roof of the net, and you've got to say Tottenham have come up the blocks pretty quick the second half. What a great finish.
Well, he enjoyed that. This young man, this 20-year-old Pap Sarr, that's his first senior competitive goal for Tottenham, making only his 6th start for the club, and he ran away and punched the corner flag over in the far corner, and there was a reaction from Postecoglou. We're just seeing it now in our little screens here. Nothing too much, just turned across, clapped his hands, put one arm in the air, and then, as I said, resumed his position standing with his arms crossed. But he made the decision, Postecoglou. Here's Rashford, might get away from Romero on the edge of the box, but Romero recovered. Van der Ven was there as well, and it bounces through to Vicario, who drops on it. But he made that decision, Postecoglou, to play Pap Sarr. Not sure whether we were expecting that.
No, I think Bazuna comes deep and likes to get the ball off the back 4. I think he doesn't want 2 players doing that.
So, goal arrives, but here, Anthony at the other end. Oh, shoots and hits the post. What a shot that was from the right side of the penalty area on his left foot. Hit it really well, and it struck the face of the post and bounced back into the penalty area. So that's a let-off for Tottenham, having just taken the lead. They could easily have been pegged back there, but now here's Son at the other end for Tottenham. The overlap is there, and the cross from Maddison is over both Tottenham players inside the penalty area. This is thrilling stuff now. The memories of that stodgy football that they saw so often last season are being blown away here by Tottenham. Just what they wanted, just what Postecoglou wanted. This is the opening goal.
This is what Tottenham fans want to see. Front foot.
It's through the middle with Richarlison, who runs into red shirts, but it bounces out to goal scorer Sarr. Now Maddison with the outside of his boot to Son. Son back into Udogie. Udogie shot saved by the legs of Onana, and it bounced out. Could have fallen to Richarlison. It didn't. United clear.
Well, I don't know what happened to Man United at half time, but they have not come out the second half. Tottenham Well, he's had a word with up the tempo or what, but it's been brilliant for Tottenham since the second half started. Man United got to liven up.
And the Tottenham move that led to the goal, incidentally, do you remember Maddison was going to take it down the left-hand side, but they changed the focus of attack to Kulusevski, who took it to the byline as Spurs again to the byline on the left-hand side. Son with a cross, and that's come off Anthony, who was back in there, and it's a corner to Tottenham from the left-hand side. And this is very much Postecoglou football, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what he wants. High tempo, good movement, passing, dribbling. And second half so far, that's what he's getting. Man United, Ten Hag's got 3 subs warming up already.
Maddison, James Maddison, the new vice-captain on his competitive home debut, gets the ovation from all of those supporters in that towering south stand that stretches all the way back right up until those huge rectangular screens. Maddison takes the corner into the near post that Sarr was after again in there. Overhead kick away by Garnacho. Still hasn't completely cleared the danger. Bruno Fernandes is there, played it back into his own box. Martinez put the challenge in there. He managed to get the ball, clear it, but he put the challenge in on Romero. Shouts from the home supporters. Maddison, lovely footwork. Maddison's still going, and then in comes the challenge on him from Anthony, which blocks it behind. And Maddison stayed down. Romero's still down in the box.
Martinez, his teammate for Argentina, just had a word with him about something.
And a long ball downfield for Manchester United from Shaw and Vicario with 2 Tottenham men down.
I don't know why Maddison stayed down. I think he's looking at a pen as well, but I can see with Mario. He's looking. I could be. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, Michael Oliver is talking.
Definitely not Maddison's. He has the challenge. We're getting the benefit of a replay.
So it's Romero.
He didn't play the ball, Martinez.
But Romero kicked him, didn't he?
No, he's trying to get his leg across to get the.
We've seen one view
he puts his leg across to. He goes for the ball there.
What do you think?
So there's a chance.
Martinez.
There's a chance. That one's definitely not. Look, that's a great challenge.
That's a great challenge. Anthony on Maddison.
Yeah, Maddison. That's fine.
But the initial challenge, which was Martinez stretching for it against Romero.
I think he's got a case on that one. Definitely not Maddison's.
Do you know, I think that's one they'll stick with the referee's decision. I think they'll feel, if Michael Oliver's had a view on that, a clear view, he feels he's had a clear view.
He's playing on it.
Yeah, I think they'll feel that there's not enough there to overturn the referee's decision.
You can see why.
So, lively start to the second half, Chris. Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0.
Especially by Tottenham. They've come out the blocks very quick.
They've got that goal that you came all the way to see. Got the first one. Wasn't necessarily expecting to see it from Pap Sarr.
No.
But, as you say, finished it really well in the 6-yard box. Just drove it in as Richarlison got a shove in the back from Martinez there. Martinez, who likes a bit of a dust-up, doesn't he? And that's Argentina against Brazil. Ball played through. Suggestion there that might have been a foul Tottenham's way, but it hasn't been given. And here's Rashford now on the right-hand side. So Manchester United find themselves behind for the first time in the Premier League this season after the 1-0 win on Monday night. Rashford is challenged. It's a free kick. And free kick to Manchester United out on the right flank. They struck a post through Anthony's shot. Fernandes had that a really good chance in the first half, headed over. There were early chances as well for Manchester United. Haven't been able to find a way through. Now they've got to come from behind here. Tottenham leading, but a free kick for Bruno Fernandes, who curls it in towards the penalty spot, and it's headed by Casemiro and saved by Vicario, diving up and to his right to push it over the crossbar. Excellent header from Casemiro.
Yeah. Great ball in again, Fernandes. We know he's very good at set pieces. But where's the Tottenham defence? They've tried to hold the line high, hope Man United gamble offside. Flag doesn't go up. It's a header direct. It's a good save. Right hand, strong wrist, pushes it over the crossbar. Corner.
Look short to take this, angles it short to Bruno Fernandes on the left. Bruno Fernandes curls in, half-headed away for Tottenham, took a deflection. Son is there to hook it further away on the edge of the penalty area. Kulusevski chasing with Wan-Bissaka, who is on a yellow card, and Kulusevski, as they were shoulder to shoulder, goes down, and Michael Oliver was right on the spot there. He sprinted the referee to be with them, and he was decisive there. That that was not a free kick.
No, it's not a free kick, and the slight, maybe it's the heel of Wan-Bissaka caught his head, scraped the side of his fair head, but there's nothing in that, no.
Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. First night of the Athletics, just while Kulusevski is down receiving treatment. So our team in Budapest are there. We heard from Kath Merry at half-time on the latest on the heptathlon, but now I think, Kath, the 100-metre heats in progress.
Yes, they are. The British record holder and world leader Zarnell Hughes has comfortably just won the first heat in 10 seconds exactly. And in terms of KJT, she finished with a shot put of 13 metres and 64. She was in 4th place in the heptathlon. She's now moved down to equal 5th. She'll have her last event of the day, the 200 metres, in under an hour's time.
Thank you very much, and lots of coverage and commentary every night this week on 5 Live. BBC Television as well. Ireland 12, England 3 is the latest score in Dublin in the World Cup warm-up match in the Rugby Union. Finished Wales 16, South Africa 52 earlier. Lots of coverage, 5 Live and Sports Extra through the autumn from the Rugby Union World Cup. And the lines are open for 606 with Kulusevski just getting to his feet. Ring to call Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, who are taking your calls on 08085 909 693. You can text 85058, hashtag BBC 606, and the programme tonight will include the latest on Manchester City against Newcastle as well, which kicks off at 8 o'clock. So Kulusevski finally leaves the field, and play will resume with a drop ball back to Manchester United. An unchallenged drop ball. Great noise. Spurs leading 1-0. Shaw plays it through. Bruno Fernandes, low shot, but Vicario down to his left. That was missed on the edge of the box. Bruno Fernandes got away from Van der Ven, but the offside flag was up.
Yeah, well, Romario makes a mess of it, and Van der Ven makes a mess of it, doesn't he? I think he could have took it on. He didn't need to shoot. He could have took it on. He goes to ground, Van der Ven, very easy. Could have took it on a bit more, but he was offside.
He was, wouldn't have counted. Good save by Vicario, though.
Yeah, he's playing well.
Yeah.
He looked very nervous last week at Brentford, I thought.
Much more settled here today. Made a couple of saves, which helps, doesn't it? Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. And we've got just over half an hour to play here in the sunshine in the capital. Maddison wriggles away down the left-hand side, then wriggles away again infield between two Manchester United men, plays it back to Udogie. And now goal scorer Sarr, low pass to the right. Pedro Porro is there. Pedro Porro infield to Kulusevski, onto his left foot, shifts it across, and then a curling effort centrally from Yves Bissouma, which is over the top by 4 or 5 yards, the top right corner as he looked at it.
I've got to say, John, there's a lot of confidence in the Spurs side, and well, that's through the manager's belief in wanting to play a certain style. The players have reacted to it, and they seem very, very confident.
As the ball is played out by Manchester United, and Porro is adjudged to have fouled Garnacho. No European football for Tottenham this season after their lowest league finish for 14 years.
I think that will help them, John, rebuild.
Yeah, but that as well, without European football, I guess is why Ange Postecoglou was talking about them having too many unwanted players at training. Here's Son now breaking away for Tottenham as they look for a second goal. Varane's in front of him, plays it through. Maddison back to Son, ran a little wide. Son though curls it across looking for Richarlison. Martinez headed it down, came out to Bissouma, into the area now from him, drags it back, then a back heel flick to Son. Udogie near the corner of the penalty area, back to Bissouma, another flick. Udogie's in again, square from him. Son still going. Oh, shoots, and it's blocked by Shaw. He was waiting for it to open up, and Shaw was able to block the shot in the end.
Wow, I've got to say, this manager's turned Tottenham into the Harlem Globetrotters. Absolutely great to watch. Sorry, but brilliant. Some of that play, imagination, brilliant. It should have been a goal though. You get nothing but a new. I was told that many years ago. You get nothing but a new, but I tell you what, brilliant football to watch.
Who is that again? Arthur Cox?
Yes.
No, you get nothing for an ooh. Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0, but there were oohs and ahs all over the place in there. Flicks and tricks. Bissouma, corner. Really, Son must have thought he was going to score there. Maddison with a corner in from the left-hand side, but that's headed away by Casemiro. And I wonder if Antonio Conte is watching somewhere at home in Italy with his brow furrowed. Son, square to Bissouma again. Bissouma, Manchester United with 2 men in front of him, comes back 30 yards out. Sarr out to the right hand side to Kulusevski. It's all Tottenham now. Kulusevski, Ten Hag must be thinking about making a change or two. There are 3-4 Manchester United players warming up, and Tottenham are in the ascendancy here. Kale's up, 1-0 up. Maddison playing it in from the angle, cleared away by Varane. Comes Porro to Kulusevski, then back to Porro, but he can't reach that as the ball runs over the dead ball line. Shaw coming across, and it's a goal kick.
I don't know if Tottenham keep this up. We need that second goal, I've got to say, because Man United have got a threat in them. We know that. They've got the players, they've got the subs warming up. He needs that second goal, Tottenham, but you've got to say second half they've been excellent so far.
But all of these people, we haven't had the crowd figure yet, but of course the stadium full, 50-60,000, and they love the sight of this. They love this glimpse of what this Ange Postecoglou team might be able to do, as Udogie is yellow carded for running away with the ball when Michael Oliver had given a free kick to Manchester United. So that was almost like asking for a yellow card.
Yeah, well, he is, and well, as you say, John, this is what Tottenham fans want to see. You know, if they lose 3-2 or whatever, I think obviously they want to win, but as long as they get entertained.
Antonio Conte will be sitting there. I told them to work. I wanted you to work. As the ball is played forward for Son down the left. Son keeps it in play. Son now. Little ball into the penalty area. Maddison stretches, gets there first, gives it back to Son. Son did well, finds Bissouma. Bissouma turns Casemiro into the area. Low shot, wide of the post as Onana dives down and allows it to go wide.
Well, he's been different class today. He's, you look at him under the previous managers, nobody wanted him to play. This new manager obviously likes the way he plays. He's technically brilliant. I'm not sure he can finish though, but as a game last week and this week, he's been outstanding.
Just for Bissouma, 28 appearances last season as they went from Antonio Conte to Christian Stellini to Ryan Mason at the end of the season. His first match back in charge, Ryan Mason, in April, was the 2-2 draw here between Tottenham and Manchester United. Here is Kulusevski trying to lay it through to Porro. Shaw's in there. Manchester United been really stretched here. Shaw's been able to get it away though to Mason Mount. He's gone very quiet in the game, and Tottenham, Sarr got there first ahead of Rashford, and yes, Erik ten Hag is going to make 3 changes. So Manchester United will be bringing on Gallo as right back. Christian Eriksen is coming on as well, and I have to get him a feet to see who that is. Jadon Sancho is the other player who is coming on. Anthony on the right. Anthony into the penalty area, trying to find a way past Van der Ven, but he can't, and Van der Ven comes out with the ball, passes it up to Richarlison, who wins the throw-in off Varane for Spurs.
Well, I think he'd take the 2 wide men off and probably Mason Mount.
So triple change coming up now, but there has been a red card in the Ireland-England match in Dublin. James Burridge is following it.
History repeating itself for England. This time Billy Vunipola has been sent off. Originally a yellow card, it's been upgraded to a red card in the bunker for a shoulder to head on Andrew Porter, the Ireland prop. No mitigation, so Vunipola, just like Owen Farrell a week ago, sent off a red card. England will have 2 hearings next week, 1 for Farrell, 1 for Vunipola, and to compound things, James Lowe has just scored Ireland's 3rd try in the corner from a cross-field kick. England in all sorts of problems now. Billy Vunipola, a red card in Dublin.
Well, that is another blow for England's World Cup preparations. There'll be lots and lots of talk about that over the course of tonight, tomorrow and into Monday. Rugby Union Weekly will have all of the discussion on BBC Sounds. Now, while that was happening, Dalot has come on for Wan-Bissaka. Also, Anthony and Garnacho have been replaced. So the 2 wide men up front for Manchester United. Here is Shaw, play back underway. Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. Lines open for 606, 08, 085, 909, 693. Sarr strongly runs the ball away. He's up against Christian Eriksen now, who went with him, the former Tottenham man. Son delivers it low into the penalty area on the left-hand side. Udogie is there. Udogie up against Varane, went for the back heel flick, but that hit Diogo Dalot, and he cleared it, but Bruno Fernandes has just headed it straight out of play.
I've got to say, Tottenham have been excellent second half, and I'm not taking any away from Tottenham's performance, the tempo, the way they move the ball, the confidence in them. Man United have been terrible since half time.
So if Christian Eriksen is on, Chris, I guess they're looking to try and get Mason Mount involved further down the field, and it'll be interesting to see where Sancho's
playing on the left.
Yeah, he is on the left, yeah, a la Garnacho.
On the left. Fernandes is actually playing a little bit more right, and Mason Mount's gone into that Fernandes role, basically, of Rashford.
And Marcus Rashford, have we seen him in the second half?
No, I don't think he's a centre forward. I know a lot of people think he is. I don't think that. I think he's best on his wing, on his left hand side.
Kulusevski curling it in from the angle, and Richarlison threw himself at it on the edge of the 6-yard box, just over his head, and Onana was able to catch. Well, that's certainly a discussion point for Robbie and Chris on 606 08 085 909 693. What of Marcus Rashford, who should be playing through the middle for Manchester United? Martial's on the bench, and I know that Jadon Sancho played as a false nine at times during pre-season for Manchester United. Spurs going to make a couple of changes as well. Perisic and Ben Davies are going to come on for Tottenham. That'll be the first two substitutions from Postecoglou. Still a narrow lead, 1-0, Pap Sarr's goal in the 49th minute, and we are into the final quarter of the match now, past the midway point of the second half.
I think Udogie's he's had a touch of cramp at times at left back, and
he's covered a lot of ground.
Kranitsky would probably come off this right hand side just to put a bit of energy. Perisic.
Pedro Porro blocks the ball out of play. Just see if we'll see the Tottenham changes now. Well, we will. And it is Udogie, as you said, Chris. Ben Davies coming on to replace him. He's yellow carded as well, which might be part of the thinking.
But looks a good player. I know we went on loan last year, as you said. They bought him and sent him back to Italy, and played very well at Brentford. Had a bit nervous first half, yeah, but second half looked good.
Yeah, Destiny Udogie after his competitive home debut. They've enjoyed what they've seen from him. And Richarlison off.
Son's going number 9.
Well, we've seen that before. And Perisic coming on the left-hand side, the experienced Perisic.
Well,
for
think
Tottenham.
It's been proved today. I think a lot of aspects of the sides looks good. Tottenham, there's a lot to work with, but they do need a number 9. There's no doubt about that.
For Manchester United, better team early on in the match. That big chance that Fernandes had with a header. Remember, Anthony shot against the post. That was in the second half, just after Tottenham had taken the lead. Casemiro header as well saved by Vicario.
So they had a good tempo about them, John, first half, Man United. They looked threatening, they moved the ball quicker than Tottenham. You know, they looked the better side, but and they've come out second half, and they kind of seemed to up the tempo, and you've got to say Tottenham have.
Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds as well if you're on the move. World Cup final live from Sydney in the morning, 11 o'clock kickoff. It's on BBC television as well. You can listen to the radio, the 5 Live commentary via the red button as well. All sorts of ways to follow it in the morning. And then 2 Premier League commentaries on 5 Live tomorrow afternoon. The 2 Premier League matches of the day. Aston Villa Everton from 2, West Ham Chelsea from 4:30. Hear them with us here. Here's Sancho away down the left hand side. He's away from Porro. This might open up for Manchester United. No, it won't. Basuma is able to come across and block the ball out of play. Sancho couldn't get it across. United had a 4-man front line there, but Sancho was tackled by Basuma. Throw in for the visitors. 10 yards back from the corner flag. We're going to get the Manchester City Newcastle team news very shortly. Can't imagine Eddie Howe will be making many changes, but Manchester United coming forward. Fernandes on the right, we'll get that soon, but Dalot back in field towards Casemiro, and then here is Christian Eriksen Christian Eriksen once scored after 11 seconds for Tottenham against Manchester United. The last time they won at home, actually. That was the game at Wembley. Eriksen, then to Shaw on the left-hand side. Jadon Sancho back towards Shaw, and then Eriksen again, just getting a little thinner on top. Eriksen, as the ball, as we look down on him, he drives it to the edge of the penalty area, but Tottenham clear on the edge of the box, and it's away downfield for them to Onana, who chests it down with Son, as Chris Waddle said. There's the furthest forward through the middle, Son having moved in, and then the ball is just kept in on the far side by the Manchester United captain Fernandes, who drives it across, but he's passed it straight at Kulusevski, and Kulusevski will take it on over the halfway line. Still going, Kulusevski, but challenged by Sanchez, and Sanchez and Sarr get there at the same time. The ball's out of play, so let's go to Manchester and bring in John Bennett for the team news on that match tonight.
Yes, John, for Manchester City, 2 changes from the Super Cup. Julian Alvarez comes in for Cole Palmer. Ruben Diaz is back from concussion to replace Nathan Ake. Newcastle, you were spot on, no surprise after a 5-1 win, unchanged.
Thought that might be the case, and with strength to bring on, so Barnes and Wilson on the bench again, and a slip from Manchester United at the back, which actually could have been costly as the ball was played. Eriksen slipped and the ball bounced off, I think, Varane, wide of goal and behind for a corner.
He's a little bit unlucky. I think Holberg's going to come on.
Yeah. Into the midfield, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, and Tottenham looking to open a 2-goal lead. Maddison with a corner. In it goes to the edge of the 6-yard box. Sarr got his head to it again, but couldn't direct it on goal. Ball flashed over to the far side. Son is out there. Son playing it back via Davis all the way into the centre circle to Pedro Porro, and then Porro receives it back again. Porro curls it over the top down the left-hand side. Ben Davis on the chase. Dalot has to come across into the full-back area. Ben Davis now on his right foot, and then just a little pass to Maddison on the edge of the penalty area. Maddison's, it's congested, very congested. Maddison turns all the way around, gives it to Davis, right foot across to the back post. That's headed away by Luke Shaw, who got up there. And Rashford running the ball away to the halfway line, where Sarr slid in to put the ball out of play. A further score in the Ireland-England match. James Burridge.
Hansen with a 4th try for Ireland, John, after James Lowe's 5 minutes ago. They're now comfortably 22 points to 3 up. But the breaking news in Dublin, Billy Vunipola, red card, initially a yellow for a shoulder-to-head tackle on Andrew Porter. There was no arms in it, there was no mitigation, upgraded to a red card. For the second weekend in a row, England have suffered 2 red cards. Farrell last week, Vunipola today.
Yep, that's the story there. And the 100 continues on Sports Extra on your digital radio. Højbjerg is going to come on to replace the Tottenham goal scorer, Pap Sarr. Only his 6th start for the Tottenham first team in a competitive match. Brought in by Ange Postecoglou for his first home game in the Premier League. And he has had a really good day, Chris Waddle.
Brilliant, a lot of energy. You can see why he picked him, especially at home. Loves to get forward and join in. Yeah, he's had a very good performance. Him and the Sumo linked up very, very well in that midfield. So, yeah, bright future.
Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton standing by to take your calls on 606, as well as the latest on Manchester City Newcastle from 8 o'clock. So the line's open, 08 085 909 693 to talk to them. Book your call now. So lots of Manchester United discussion. Mitrovic as well, the latest to go off to Saudi Arabia. If you've got a view on that, if you're a Fulham fan, as Manchester United going to go to Budapest again in a moment, but Dalot with the ball on the right hand side, giving it out to Fernandes. Fernandes now, time beginning to run out for Manchester United, 15 minutes to go. Fernandes cross to the far side of the penalty area, that's headed down by Pedro Porro. Now Luke Shaw takes it up on the left hand side. Mason Mount is there. Shaw puts his foot on the ball, curls it into the back post, where it's chested back to goalkeeper Vicario by Ben Davis. And let us go all the way to Budapest again for more on the 100-metre heats at the World Athletics. Kath Merrick.
Zarnell Hughes, the world leader and new British record holder, won his heat in 10 seconds exactly, and introduced to the crowd as the world's fastest accountant. Eugene Amodadze qualified for the semi-finals, and Rhys Prescott has just finished third in his heat. So all three Brits through to the semi-final tomorrow.
Yes, I heard him the other morning. Amodadze, great story that. The fastest accountant in the world. Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0. And it is Manchester United. This boy's got a bit of pace as well. Rashford, who is on the left-hand side, sets off but can't get round the outside of Pedro Porro, who does really well. And then Kulusevski wins the throw-in off Rashford.
Well, you mean last season when you're watching games, John, and for me, Porro, and there was 4 or 5 of them for me, you thought, look, well out the depth, couldn't handle it. And but this manager, new seasons, obviously put a lot of confidence into them, a lot of belief.
Rashford's had that one chance, hasn't he, so far in the first half? Remember when he was put through?
I think he's more effective on the left-hand side. What did he get last year? Was it 30? 30 goals, wow.
Yeah, his best season in all competitions. As Son wins the ball back from Bruno Fernandes. Son takes it on through the middle, gives it to Perisic. Perisic couldn't find the cross, but it bounces out to Son. Tottenham back in possession. Ben Davies back out to Son. Perisic makes a run. Maddison's there as well. Little pass to Son, just drags his foot over it and plays it back to the halfway line. I'm sure, Harry Kane he must be watching this, mustn't he? If he can be.
Definitely.
Wouldn't it be absolutely fascinating? That is classic fly on the wall, isn't it? To see what he's thinking of this, and possibly what he's thinking is, if I was there,
he would have had a hat-trick today.
And Tottenham were playing like this, what would that equal? 32 goals for him last season though, and they finished in 8th. I think that was I just feel that was the final straw, wasn't it? To score all of those goals.
Listen, he's looked at him, listen, you can't fault him for what he's done.
So Tottenham 1, Manchester United 0, and the Tottenham record scorer, England's record scorer and captain, watching on from somewhere in Bavaria. And Højbjerg, having come onto the field, he might be another one who's off to pastures new, having started on the bench for Tottenham this season under Postecoglou. Maddison though through the middle. Maddison on his competitive home debut. Son back to him. Now Ben Davies. Ben Davies into the area, overhits the pass through to Kulusevski and it runs through for a goal kick.
So many passes. Why isn't Ben Davies not shoot? He's in the 18-yard box. There's nobody closing him down. He's decided to pass it. Shoot.
Goal kick for Manchester United. We're in a bit of a hole here.
They've been excellent Tottenham second half, by the way. They've made Man United look very, very average.
Yeah, Manchester United facing their first defeat of the season. Could easily be 2 out of 2. However, they've not lost this match yet. Varane carrying it forward. And actually he's got space to do that. And he says, well, I'll continue to do that over the halfway line. Little pass into the central Rashford. Then back to Varane. Now Bruno Fernandes out on the right-hand side. Mason Mount cuts it back. Left-footed cross from Mount to the back post. That's headed away. And then a bouncing shot, lack power from Casemiro. And Vicario is able to go down to his right and grab the ball into his chest.
Header, wasn't it? He's headed it straight down out into the D. He's got to head that away. But Tottenham still look comfortable. Good in possession.
It's Chris Waddle with us here, former Tottenham man, watching Spurs making a new start here, and real positivity. I know if Tottenham fans are on 606 later, I think they'll have enjoyed what they've seen from Postecoglou's team here. However, the job's not done yet, and it bounces off Bissouma in Manchester United with Christian Eriksen, and Eriksen now thought about it, I think, but then plays it to Dalot on the right-hand side. Bruno Fernandes back to Christian Eriksen, who will go back further towards Varane, the man who scored the winning goal against Wolves on Monday night. Now here's Martinez. Martinez curls it through, but that's overhit. That will bounce tamely through for Manchester United. And Tottenham have got possession back, and we are into the last 10 minutes now. For 606, call 08 085 909 693. Read about today's football on the football pages of the BBC Sport website and app. Watch the highlights, match of the day tonight, BBC One, or anytime on the iPlayer. Football Daily podcast in the morning, and right now on BBC Sounds, the World Cup final preview podcast is out if you want to listen to that tonight in the morning before our commentary at 11 o'clock live from Sydney. Tottenham in the last 10 minutes looking good. Højbjerg, the number 5. Maddison comes short. Be interesting to see what you felt about Maddison's all-round performance, Chris, when we get a chance. But here's Kulusevski coming in, playing it back to Maddison, who goes back towards the halfway line. And Romero turns, low ball through the middle from him to Son. Maddison then whips a high pass out to the left-hand side. That's a nice touch from Perisic, low and into Davies, who scores! Hit the defender, but Davies is claiming it, and Tottenham have the 2-goal lead. They're going to win this first match in the Premier League at home under Ange Postecoglou, and for this second half performance they deserve it.
Oh, they've been excellent second half. You can't fault Tottenham. This is what people want to see from Tottenham Hotspur. The fans do, and they've got it today. Brilliant. It's an own goal by Martinez for me. Ben Davies gets in there. He doesn't get a great contact on it, does he? And I think Martinez toe pokes it into the bottom corner. There's not a lot the goalkeeper can do. Ben Davies gets the slightest a touch.
Yeah, it's going wide. Yeah.
Martinez, it's an own goal. And it's obviously Tottenham deserved it. They've been excellent second half. Man United probably shaded the first, but definitely second half. Tottenham have been well above Man United.
So it is an own goal. Ben Davies' little touch, I think, was going wide of the far post. Just sort of hit it really, actually, on his left foot.
He did.
But Martinez, a little unfortunate behind him, struck him into the net. And Tottenham lead Manchester United by 2-0. Erik ten Hag was going to make a double change there before the second goal went in. Pellistri and Martial waiting to come on, but with 6 minutes to go plus added time, you'd think that that's too late, and that Tottenham, particularly the way that they've played in the second half, are not going to let this slip.
Oh, that's a foul
on Dalot, free kick, Manchester United. So Manchester United actually going to make the changes now. Mason Mount is coming off. Quiet, I'm afraid. Mason Mount booed for his Chelsea connections. Pellistri, the young Uruguayan winger, is coming on to play on the right-hand side. And Rashford is off, and Martial is on. And Marcus Rashford goes and sits down on the bench, throws down, I think, his shin pads. I think that's what it was. Frustration. 2 matches after his 30 goals last season. Rashford not able to find the target in his first 2 games of this season. And that reaction sums up Manchester United frustration here. It's Tottenham's day so far. 2-0, they lead, and we're into the closing stages now. Must be close to the closing stages in Dublin, where Ireland are playing England. Comfortably ahead, last we heard from James Burridge.
Yes, 5 minutes left in Dublin. Ireland 29, England 10. Keith Earls in his 100th game for Ireland, scoring in the corner. Carl Sinclair's got one back for England. But the breaking news, Billy Vunipola's red card after a shoulder to the head of Andrew Porter.
Manchester United with Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the penalty area in the D shoots, but that's blocked on the edge of the area by Porro. 2 Tottenham men in there. But the place is buoyant here, really buoyant. Tottenham fans singing their songs. Manchester United section very quiet. Bruno Fernandes playing it in, and Vicario comes and scoops it up on the half volley with Pellistri arriving, but the Tottenham goalkeeper has it safely.
Look at the Tottenham players, look, they're all touching the toes, touch a cramp with about 3 or 4 of them. They've put a massive shift in today, basically first half to compete with Man United, but second half absolutely, Man United couldn't get near them. It'd been excellent Tottenham second half.
Manchester United, who are at home to Nottingham Forest next Saturday, as Son turns away but then gives the ball away. Manchester United with Casemiro now out to the right flank. Dalot arriving into the penalty area. Dalot still going, clips the ball across, and it lands beyond the 6-yard box and bounces out into the opposite full-back area. Shaw now curls it in, stretching header away by Bissouma. Been just about as good as anyone, Bissouma, in the Tottenham team today comes back to Martinez, scorer of the unfortunate own goal. Varane, then to the right-hand side, Dalot. Pellistri is there. Tottenham have got everyone back in their own defensive third. And we've got 3.5 minutes to go. Spurs are going to make another couple of changes. Mano Solomon waiting to come on. Here's Pellistri on the right-hand side for Manchester United. Goes around the defender and then overruns it, but might have been caught there. Pellistri, I think the ball perhaps was already behind by the time there was contact. Pellistri goes down.
Have a look at it.
And referee Oliver is already speaking.
Great turn of pace from Pellistri. Ben Davies is all over him at the back. No, not for me.
Looking for it.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a bit of contact. There's an arm on his shoulder.
No, he's no legs. Yeah, there's a touch of the arms, I'll say that, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think referee Oliver saying,
there's a sub.
Yeah, make the changes. They're happy. That will not result in a penalty. So it remains Tottenham 2, Manchester United 0. While Spurs make these changes, let's get the latest on the match in the 100 that is on Sports Extra right now. Adam Mountford.
Invincibles 139.47. Tom Curran a vital unbeaten 43 after the leaders were stuttering. Chris Jordan 3 wickets, all bowled middle stump to Mal Mills with an unbelievable Coulton bowled. You must watch back on the BBC Sport website. Brave will need 140 to go second, John.
Thank you, Adam. And it is on Sports Extra right now. Kulusevski and Pedro Porro are off. So Emerson Royal, who is left out of the team today, having actually scored against Brentford in the first match last weekend. Emerson Royal coming onto the field. And also for Tottenham, Mano Solomon coming on, who was at Fulham last season. Had that amazing streak when he scored 5 goals in 5 games. He scored some great goals as well, the Israeli international. Here's Bruno Fernandes. 2-0 Tottenham lead. Lines open for 606. 08, 085, 909, 693. So Mano Solomon on for his competitive debut for Tottenham. As Bissouma, lovely from him again. And then Mano Solomon drags it back, goes past Shaw. They absolutely love that, the home supporters. That's not bad for your first contribution in a Tottenham shirt. And then Bissouma tried one trick too many and gave it away. But Højbjerg steps in, wins it back. Tottenham looking for a third goal that would finish this off. Manchester United get men back into position, but Maddison receives it back on the left-hand side from Davis, and Maddison then couldn't pick out Son at the back post, and Manchester United should clear. We're in the 90th minute now, though. If it's going to come, it's going to have to come very late for Manchester United. And hey, I've seen some comebacks in this stadium in the brief time that Tottenham have been here, but this one would be a massive shock. However, United with Pellistri into the penalty area, back to the right-hand side to Dalot. Did finish 2-2 here in April as Bruno Fernandes into the back post. Casemiro with a header, but that was straight to Vicario, who was able to make the save.
Yeah, comfortable save. He's played very well, the goalkeeper, when he's been called upon. Not much, but a couple of good saves. This will do this team the world of good, John. Confidence. The one thing they've been lacking in the last, for me, 18 months has been confidence, but this manager seems to 9 minutes of extra time.
9 minutes? Well, that's plenty of time to score 2 goals. And in that game in April, if you remember, Manchester United led 2-0 and Tottenham came back to draw 2-2. Ryan Mason's first match back in charge. So groans from the home supporters, but I think football fans are tuned into the fact that we are having numbers like that now added on at the end of matches. So 9 minutes of added time before we cross to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, who I presume Chris will have arrived back in our 5 Live studios, having been alongside Ian Dennis for the commentary match at Anfield earlier this afternoon. So 08, 085, 909, 693. If you want to talk to Chris about that, he was there at Anfield watching it. Here's Casemiro. Now to Pellistri on the right-hand side. Dalot's available. And Dalot skips past the defender Davis, pulls it back, stretching a header away by Bissouma. Comes out to Eriksson. Tottenham again have everyone back behind the ball. Erik ten Hag watching from sort of side on as it's Bruno Fernandes now shooting from 25 yards, but he just curled the shot goalwards, and that was an easy takedown by Vicario, the goalkeeper. And it is full time in the Ireland-England game. James Burridge.
Ireland 29, England 10. Another poor performance by England, who were well beaten. Ireland scoring 5 tries. But the bigger story is a second red card, this time for Billy Vunipola. A shoulder to the head of Ireland's Andrew Porter. Initially shown a yellow, upgraded to a red, just like the Farrell incident. It has huge implications for England, already light at number 8, with the World Cup now 3 weeks away.
Yep. Really does feel like England have got an awful lot to do. A little bit like Australia. I enjoyed Eddie Jones' press conference before they left Australia. If you didn't catch that, you might want to look it up. Some choice comments from the former England coach as Tottenham come forward with Manor Solomon. Emerson Royal gives it to Manor Solomon, who then passes it back to Bissouma. So we've had 2 minutes of the 9 of added time, and the Spurs are marching in. And Ange Postecoglou draw at Brentford, and now winning against Manchester United. For the first time, Tottenham have beaten Manchester United in their new stadium. And Manor Solomon in possession, Tottenham knocking it around inside their own half. Still Spurs with Bissouma, who steps away from Bruno Fernandes, and now Davis out to the left hand side. Ben Davis, little ball into the penalty area. Maddison turns and shoots into the legs of Eriksson. Ben Davis hits a shot on his right foot that was well struck, blocked by Varane on the edge of the box. Solomon again for Tottenham. Solomon being leaned into by Casemiro. He's managed to get the crossover. It's headed away by Varane and then kneed forward by Davis, and caught for Manchester United by goalkeeper Onana.
He's done well since he come on, Solomon, doesn't he? He looked quite tricky down this right hand side. Good option for Tottenham.
2-0. South Stand is buoyant in there. Tottenham fans, some of them have taken off their white shirts and are twirling them in the air. And it does feel like a new broom has swept in here to Tottenham with this performance.
They've got to build on this, John. They cannot rest on this. It's all right, beat Man United. It's a good result, great result. Now they've got to work and play the next 3 fixtures. They've got to pick points up.
Tottenham go to Bournemouth next Saturday.
Yep.
And then they've got the League Cup tie against Fulham, but then Burnley away, Sheffield United at home.
Well, they've got a good run of fixtures now to build up.
Tottenham 2, Manchester United 0. Where did you predict? Can you remember where you predicted Tottenham to finish in your Premier League predictions on the BBC website at the start of the season? Your old club. Did you have them in the top 4?
6th or 7th.
6th or 7th. Right. Here is Martinez to the left hand side to Shaw, then back to Jadon Sancho, Martinez. But Tottenham are making this difficult for Manchester United now. Casemiro centrally flights a ball into the box, but that's between Pellistri and Davis, and Perisic actually on the edge of the area applauds, leads the applause, and the Manchester United fans in that corner around the bottom tier, they're beginning to vacate their seats and head to the exits with 5 minutes of added time to play, Chris.
Well, they just haven't had enough, John. You know, let's be honest, Tottenham first half, you'd probably say Man United looked the better side, just not a lot in it, but second half, Tottenham have bossed the second half, simple as that, and Man United couldn't get near them.
Well, it was a faltering start last season, if you remember. Manchester United didn't have a point after the first 2 matches under Erik ten Hag last season, and went on to win a trophy, finished 3rd. And as you say, Rasmus Højlund, there are great hopes for him to score the goals, but Marcus Rashford has ended up substituted as Tottenham go back through Emerson Royal to goalkeeper Vicario, who clears from the 6-yard box towards the halfway line. And of course, you know, there's still that unhappiness, certainly with the ownership situation, and whether there will be some resolution to that. Shaw winning the ball back from Bissouma, taking it through the middle, pass to the edge of the box, and a curling finish on the edge of the area. I actually took it a deflection as Casemiro pulled away and hit the shot.
Romario on the ground, cramp. There's a few Tottenham players they've been stretching their legs there.
Yeah,
they put a terrific shift in.
Casemiro could have scored in the second half. His header was pushed over. Anthony had the shot against the crossbar, and corner for Manchester United, which is taken deep. It's headed across the box via a deflection. Nodded away by Solomon, cleared away by Son. Comes out to Jadon Sancho. Sancho 30 yards out. Goes square to Eriksson. Eriksson curls one in, and that's a good save from Varane's header. Vicario, it was quite central. And the offside flag is up. And if Varane had been able to plant it into the net as he did against Wolves, it wouldn't have counted.
Well, he's offside. We've seen the replay. He is offside. Good yard, but it's a terrific save again. He's made 2 or 3 good saves today. That'll give him a lot of confidence.
6:06 on the way. Touched it onto the crossbar actually, but anyway, Varane was offside. And we've got 2 minutes of added time to play. 08 085 909 693. You can text to join in. 606 85058. Hashtag BBC 606. World Cup final 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. 2 more Premier League commentaries: Aston Villa, Everton, West Ham, Chelsea, and we will keep you up to date during 606 on what happens between Manchester City and Newcastle tonight from 8 o'clock. John Bennett is there to bring you updates. Here's Højbjerg. Højbjerg's given it away to Pellistri. Martial available. Pellistri then couldn't find the pass square. Tottenham were in on him, and actually he's been fouled by Bissouma.
Yeah, it's a free kick. Definitely a free kick.
Just on the edge of the position.
Eriksson, Fernandes, good position. This with what, two minutes to go. But Olberg, play forward. Why are you going back all the time? You've made triangles. You've got space. Turn and play forward. I can see the manager going absolutely mental when they keep going back.
Yeah, he did catch him, didn't he? The ball had gone. He just pulled the ball away, and Bissouma arrived with a knee into the backside. So free kick on the edge of the area. 6:06, by the way. Stay listening, because Erik ten Hag and Ange Postecoglou, all being well, they'll be coming on to talk to us live on 5 Live during the phone-in with Robbie and Chris. Still 2-0 Tottenham.
At this time of the game, John, would you put somebody on the goal post?
Well,
at this time of the game,
they've got the man lying down behind the wall. Well, we are on the 9th minute of that time.
I'd put somebody on the post.
Fernandes, it's central, just slightly left of centre, and Bruno Fernandes over the wall. But as the crowd here at the Tottenham Stadium will tell you, over the top corner as well. And Tottenham, I think, know now that they've got the job done, and they've got their first league win of the season.
Yep, they've got it done. They've deserved it, definitely. You can't say they haven't. Man United, he's got to get the right balance. He ain't got the right balance at the minute, Ten Hag. He's tried the same team twice now, and it's not worked.
So a goal kick for Tottenham. This might be the last kick of the match. The 9 minutes are up. The Tottenham are singing. They're on their feet. It's over the halfway line, and there's the whistle from Michael Oliver. And that's not bad for starters for Ange Postecoglou, who calmly turns to his left and stretches out his hand to shake it with Erik ten Hag. Manchester United slipped to their first defeat of the season in their second match. But for Tottenham, their first win in the Premier League under Postecoglou. And for the first time, they've beaten Manchester United in the new stadium. Good work for Tottenham. Second half goals from Pape Sarr and the own goal from Lisandro Martinez after Davis' shot deflected into him. Well done Tottenham, Chris Waddle.
Listen, a big pat on the back by Spurs have been excellent. Really, energy, the skill levels, the entertainment levels, the desire. That's what Tottenham want to see. Man United, I don't know what's happening at the minute. They started sluggish, and he's got to get the balance right. And the one thing he's got to get is the number 9. You've got to get Rashford back on that left-hand side. Get the balance right this side. It doesn't look right at the minute. There's a bit of work to do for Man United. But Tottenham, if he can get a few out and get a couple, 2 or 3 more in, you never know what could happen this season.
Yeah, lots of questions about Manchester United after their unconvincing win on Monday night against Wolves, and now losing here to Tottenham. But really promising signs for Tottenham in the way that they played in the second half. Manchester United, remember, did have their chances, better in the first half. Fernandes, big moment when he headed over. Anthony with a shot against the post. But Tottenham have won it 2-0. 6:06 coming up shortly. But let's get the latest again from Catherine Merry, who's in Budapest for 5 Live at the World Athletics Championships.
Yeah, the men's 100 metres first round proper has ended, and 3 Brits are through, being led by world leader Zarnel Hughes. But the quickest qualifier is Jamaica's Oblique Seville in 9.86 seconds. The big names, though, Noah Lyles, Fred Curley and the Olympic champion Lamont Jacobs are also through. And shortly, Katharina Johnson-Thompson in equal fifth in a heptathlon comes for her final event of day one, the 200 metres.
Yeah, the cricket, the 100 continues on Sports Extra. Big news from Ireland tonight, from Dublin, where Vunipola was sent off as England were beaten 29-10 by Ireland in the World Cup warm-up match. Don't forget, the World Cup in Australia kicks off the final at 11 o'clock in the morning. Join Vicky Sparks and Karen Bardsley for commentary live from inside the stadium in Sydney. Then two more Premier League commentaries tomorrow: Aston Villa against Everton, West Ham against Chelsea, both on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. But that's it from a buoyant Tottenham Stadium on this Saturday night, with the sun shining down on Ange Postecoglou's team, who've beaten Manchester United by 2-0. And now it's time to talk about all of the day's action on 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage.
Thanks so much, John. Christopher, Ange Ball, first home game, 2-0 win. And as for Manchester United, they look lacklustre, tired, look like it's end of season, not the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think if you're a Manchester United fan, you're really worried with that level of performance. Lucky to get away with it against Wolves on Monday night. I expected a response from them. But no, worrying signs at Manchester United. They need a centre forward. Rob, Rashford doesn't suit that role. Why didn't they make a big play for Harry Kane in the summer? I know they've got Højlund, who's eventually going to get a game. I think he's injured at this moment in time, but that seems an odd one. They lack a focal point. Manchester United fans must be worried, but Tottenham Hotspur, Ange Ball has only just begun, Rob.
Certainly has. 08085 909 693. I tell you what, Chris, the phone lines are going to be so busy, not to mention Ipswich are top of the championship, but you can't wait to talk about that one. 08085 909 693. It's time for the news on 5 Live with Carl Hartley. Big Ange, who's with George Cummins.
Thanks, Robert. Yep, very Ange Postecoglou as well as now. Ange, you said yesterday you wanted to win and entertain. You done that in style today, didn't you?
Mike?
Yeah, we definitely were entertaining. Yeah, look, I'm really pleased for the players. Delighted for the fans. I thought that our support was outstanding today from the first minute. The energy in the stadium was outstanding, and we were a bit nervy in the first half. I thought we made some mistakes and allowed Man United to sort of come at us more than we'd want to, and we were probably a bit fortunate to stay in the game. But I really liked the way the guys sort of hung in there, and I thought second half we were very good.
What did you say to the players at half time, because you really come out a different team in that second half?
Yeah, look, I thought towards the end of the first half we just settled down a little bit, and I thought we started to take control of the game, and it was just more positive reinforcement that like I said, we had a really young team out there. We had a couple of 20-year-olds, a couple of 22, 23-year-olds out there that they're going to be a little bit nervous in such a big game against a big opponent. So it's just more settling them down and just showing them that when we kept the game simple and had the energy we needed, that we could cause them problems. And to be fair, the players, from the first minute of the second half, they just went at them and they never stopped, which is the pleasing thing. Even at 1-0 we were trying to score a second, and even then we were trying to score a third.
How have you given some of these players so much confidence in such a short space of time? Basuma was out of the team, couldn't get in the team the last few years, and then today he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Biss has been great from the first day, and look, obviously we've changed the way we play, and it just probably suits some players more than others. And again, the beauty for us is the players have been really receptive of the information we're giving them, and they're trying to put it into practice. And again, Biss has had 2 outstanding games for us, and it's important. It's an important position in the team, that central midfield role, and it was great today.
And great scenes at the end, fans on their feet. They really enjoyed today. But do you feel like you're healing the relationship between the club and the fans? They really loved that today, what they saw.
Well, like I said, they played their part. They gave us a great energy, and it's up to us now to keep making them believe in what we're doing and with performances. And it's not only just about the result. I think, like I said on Friday, if we had a 1-0 and just sort of hung on, you'd feel good about a win. But I think there was enough in the game today that we realised it wasn't just the manner that we won, it was also the way we played that was encouraging.
Thanks for joining us on 606.
In that second half, every time you went
Thanks so much, George. Ten Hag, who's with George Cummins.
Eric, your reflections on your side's performance this evening?
Yeah, I think we started the game well. First half was all our sides. We had to score a goal. We had to get a penalty. So, and then the meaning of the first goal is important. I think that's the story of this game, because then the second half we concede a goal, and then after that we following facts. Although we could straight bounce back, was a big chance from Anthony to that ball on the post, and also after that we had some chances to equalize, and then we created another really unlucky goal. So when you sum up everything, the performance was okay, but the result, of course, is disappointed.
So you're adamant it should have been a penalty for a Romero handball. Have you been given an explanation why it wasn't given? What have the officials told you?
I asked the question, but I got booked for that. So it's clear. But you have to accept it. But I think I can make the question.
Why the slow start to the second half from your team when Spurs scored straight away?
I'm not happy with that stage, and so it's really disappointed, and we have to talk about that. Can't be you are so passive in that situation, and moments are decisive in top football, and from that moment on you're following facts.
What do you make of the two games so far, the Wolves performance on Monday and today in total? How would you assess the start?
For me, it's a start more than 2 games, but if you see on Monday, the performance was no good, and we got away. Probably it was a penalty against. And today we deserved 2 penalties, and we didn't get them, but also we didn't score from many good chances. So we have to look in the mirror and be more decisive, be more determined in such situations to score goals.
And Harry Maguire wasn't in the squad. Can you just confirm why?
Yes, yesterday he came in the final training. He came off with a small issue.
Thanks for joining us on 606. Thank you.
There you go, Christopher. John, that was your manager, Erik ten Hag.